Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Spann Report podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann. This is episode number 361 of the report. And tonight I am joined by a couple of my Detroit homies, some Cooley High alumni, if you will. I got the homie Keisha Carr here with me. Say what's up to the people, fam.
What's up?
And I got the homeboy Ardell Boatwright, Detroit Boat. Say what's up to the people, fam.
What up, though? Spann Report. I know
Indeed.
y'all. I know y'all remember me. We got kicked off.
Oh man, why you gotta bring up old shit, baby? Why you gotta bring up old shit? No, real talk, man. They're my peoples. They're my peoples. I fuck with them heavy, man. Real talk. But yo, man, we are here tonight. We gonna talk some Kevin Samuels shit, man. I know a lot of people been, they got a lot of opinions about Kevin Samuels, what he means, what he represents, and everything else. A lot of reaction to his death and whatnot. And so we're going to kind of get into it and why people are reacting the way that they are and everything else. But before we do that, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast. Let your voice be heard. Go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave us those voicemails. And, of course, those voicemails will get replied to here live on the show and responded to in kind. And if you're catching us here while we're doing the show live, you can call in and talk your shit. Area code 313-288-0485. You can also email us here at feedback@thespannreport.com. That's feedback@thespannreport.com. Leave us those emails, and of course those emails will get read here and replied to here live on the show. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there, chop it up as your man Spann throughout the week. And also hit up our website at www.thespannreport.com. You can go there, watch replays of the show. You can vote in the polls. We decide to put those polls up. You can donate to the show as often as you like, as much as you like. And, of course, we appreciate every dime over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Real talk. And 5-star views on iTunes and or Stitcher Radio. Those 5-star views are the ones that get read here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who goes about the business of doing that. Don't cost you a dime, man. Just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Spann Report Podcast Network, man. Real talk. But, yes, we got the business out the way, man. But first things first, Keisha, how you doing, fam? What you been up to lately?
Lately, I've been podcasting like crazy. I have my own podcast, Dating Satan. I was trying to start season 2, but pretty much every week I'm on somebody else's podcast. I'm also on the Urban Conservative on 9:10 a.m. on Fridays at 6 a.m. I'll be on a Check 'em Boys podcast this Friday. What else? I'm doing some stuff with some podcast awards coming up. That's about it. Credit and conversation. Because I was here last time talking about credit. So my book is still available on Amazon. Everything high school students need to know about credit. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram. It's Dating Satan. Credit and Conversation is my credit business and literacy program on social media. And my personal Instagram is Keisha _Keish 625.
Okay. Now I remember the last time we had Keisha here, we talked a lot about credit before we started getting into some newsy shit, and we didn't even really get a chance to talk about the whole Dating Satan podcast and like how that came to be and everything. So let me get to that first, fam.
Okay.
Dating Satan, how did that come up? And like you're on season 2, so like what can we look forward to in season 2 when it comes to like people who are quote unquote dating Satan?
So the concept of dating Satan is we want to kill the stigma or the conception that Satan is always a man. So we have stories. People share their personal stories from child support to college experiences. So typically my show is based on people talking about their experience, what they learned from it, how they healed from it, and to give people advice on what they can do if they're in the same situation. It came about because I had an experience dating Satan, and one of my homegirls, actually Melissa from Cooley, was like, "Girl, you dating Satan?" This was like years ago, and that's how I came up with the name. And then I realized, in the course of me dating Satan, I've been Satan. So I was writing a book at first, and it was like I did a podcast of people in the group because I started a Facebook group. Like, let me get content and get other people's stuff to add into the book. Yeah. So I did a book, and then I did a podcast with all women, and I did a podcast with all men, and I just put it in a group, and somebody that had added another person from out of town to the group was like, "You want to be on a podcast network?" They liked the podcast I did, and it kind of just went from there.
Okay.
And it was really good. It's really good. The stories you hear are interesting. Probably my favorite podcast would be my cousin Brandon. He was in a car accident,
Mm.
and he's college educated. He's a Omega Sci-Fi, and the way women treated him when he became handicapped, or he was handicapped due to the accident,
Mm-hmm.
and how many women took advantage and how they treated him was probably one of the most interesting, highest rated shows.
Mm.
So it's really intriguing just to hear even the experiences from men, and especially when it comes to child support and the vindictiveness and the spitefulness in it. So
Mm-hmm.
I just like to share a well-rounded perspective of dating, not just from a woman's perspective, but from a male and woman's perspective.
Okay. Okay. That's what's up. And I've listened to Dating Satan. It's definitely some interesting stories on that podcast, man. So y'all should definitely go ahead and check that out. Yo, my man, Detroit Boat, man. Y'all remember Detroit Boat. He was one of the first he was a cast member on one of the first podcasts that we had on the Spann Report Podcast Network, the Black, White, and Yellowish podcast, man. That tenure didn't last long, fam. We had some bumps in that road, man. But yo, man, like my connection to that show was him. I didn't know those other two guys. So I'm gonna just put that out there right now. My connection to the show was my fam right here. And so you know, we had some conversations on the background. We good. But what's going on with you, brother? What's been like what you got going on that the people don't know about just yet?
Oh, what up, though? So to talk about what you just spoke on, yeah, we definitely were on the network. I think that we were very controversial. You know what I'm saying? And military dudes, you know, they're conservative white guys, you know, from the middle of the country, and a Filipino dude, and they have views, and we would just talk about stuff, and we wouldn't take things serious. So, like, I think we just, and it was the Bill Cosby thing that got us kicked off, right?
No, I'm gonna tell you. Well, Bill Cosby. Some of the things like I think Bill Cosby played a big part of it. But like, my listeners when they first heard some of the podcasts that y'all had put out, like, because I think y'all had like 4 or 5 episodes already ready to go.
Yeah.
And so I put the podcast up, and like immediately I started getting emails like, "Yo, Spann, what the fuck is this shit, fam?" Like, you know, like, cause like I could tell you right now, like there's a certain amount of people. There's an audience for everybody, right?
Right.
And so like I have cultivated a certain type of audience with my show. And so you guys had a different type of aesthetic. And even though I was of the mindset of like, listen, you don't necessarily have to listen to this show. It doesn't, like, the views of the Black, White, Yellowish podcast don't necessarily reflect the views of Spann, but my listeners wasn't trying to hear that shit.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I had to make the executive decision, like, damn, as much as I got love for my mans, I can't mix this. And so, unfortunately, we had to like kind of separate that part of the relationship. But like I said, it's still all love with me and my man Boat, man, for real.
Yeah, for sure.
And like we had a conversation. I think we did an episode of the podcast where me, you, and I forget my man's name.
Glenn.
Yeah, and we kind of talked everything out in that situation. But like just goes to show, man, like, yo, this podcasting thing, it could get real. It could get very real very quickly. And you know, my listeners let me know, like, nah, Spann, this ain't gonna fly, fam. I don't know if you. They were like, nigga, did you even listen to these shows before you put them out? Like, nigga,
that's my the thing. Controversy is great money.
Wait, say that again. Say that again, Keisha.
Controversy equals ratings. Ratings equals money.
You know what though? I said that on Facebook a while ago. I said, you know what, like, and especially if you've been around social media, if you've been around any type of like digital media for any length of time, what you'll find is that, you know, people like the people that you think are the worst motherfuckers tend to have the largest audiences.
Yeah.
And because controversy drives eyeballs, eyeballs drive advertising, advertising drives money. Wash, rinse, repeat. Right. And so, you know, is ironically, you know, considering who we're going to be talking about tonight, is not surprising that, you know, a person as controversial as a Kevin Samuels had as large an audience as he did. And I think to some degree, there were a lot of people who didn't necessarily like Kevin Samuels who were hate watching Kevin Samuels. And you know, I tell people this all the time too. Hate watching is still watching.
Right.
You know,
Right.
That's why Floyd Mayweather made so much money because people.
man.
Yeah. Right. You know what I'm saying?
And personally, like at a certain point, on some principled shit, I wouldn't watch any of Floyd's fights because just on my own principled shit. So because hate watching is still watching, and so Kevin Samuels was actually able to use the people who did not like him to a degree to like elevate his platform to reach more people. Because, you know, you got a whole bunch of folks who don't like this motherfucker, but can't wait to share a clip of his videos and shit like that. And those things help the people that you claim to not like. Even though you're clowning it while you're sharing it, you're still sharing it. And that's all they really after at the end of the day.
Right. So, yeah. But so now that I look back on how that, you know, everything transpired, I think that was a bad decision on all of our parts, right? We could have had a different conversation because it was definitely a controversial show. We said things that the regular person wouldn't say. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely a lot of people that agreed with some of the things we said, right? Mm-hmm. And that were said on, you know, my views weren't everybody else's views on the show. You know, mm-hmm. They definitely would push the, you know, they're white guy and a Filipino dude. So they definitely push, like, they make gay jokes. You know, I ain't making no gay jokes. You know what I'm saying? Right. I ain't about, when they doing all that, I'm quiet. You know what I'm saying? But I let them be them, right? And I think a lot of what we deal with in today's society is censorship. Everybody wants to censor anything that they don't agree with. And we have to stop that because that creates a soft society.
Okay, so I got a little bit. I can kind of push back on that a little bit. I think I may have expressed this to you a while ago, right? Like we were talking about comedians and how, like, you know, there's a lot of comedians who feel as though they feel like cancel culture is run amok. They can't make the types of jokes that they would normally be able to make, you know, from back in the day and everything else. And one of the things that I said was, you know, your audience are the ones who determine whether or not you're funny or not.
I disagree with that. See, like
I get that. I get that.
Being in the craft.
No,
go ahead.
Okay, so I'll give you a prime example. You can go into a room and you can use you can do your set and you can kill it in that room, right?
Right.
That room has decided that you are funny. In the moment that you're doing that set and you killing it, that room has decided you're funny. Okay. You can go into another room and do that exact same set, and that room may not necessarily be receptive.
For sure.
To what it is that you're saying. And so in that moment, they decided, like, we don't fuck with this guy. But the thing is, like, and we all do this, right? We all do this. It's in much the same way that, like, when, say you put something up on Facebook and everybody is, like, you know, liking your shit, they agreeing with you on your shit. It only take one motherfucker to come on there and do some and say some foul shit, and you done ignored everybody else that done told you, like, yo, man, this is some dope shit. That can I share this, nigga? Make this shit public, nigga. Like, you done ignored all these motherfuckers because you got this one nigga in there hating, and now you giving all of your energy to this one motherfucker in here that's hating. And so I think we're all guilty of doing that. And so when I say, you know, your audience are the ones who determine whether or not you're funny, is basically like, these ain't the people for me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, like, for sure.
These just aren't the people for me. That's all I'm saying, really, in the ultimate scheme of things with that. Is that, like, there are some people who are going to find your shit funny, and then there are others who not, and they're allowed to not like your shit. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. But the thing is, we have to be careful of, like, canceling or muting people, right? If you don't like something, you have the choice just not to listen. Mm-hmm. Right. And so we have this entitlement of, if you don't like it, they need to go. No, like, okay, you just made a great point. I had this joke, right? I still got it. I love it. It was when I wanted to be on Dave Chappelle's and shit, right? I wrote this very Dave Chappelle-ish joke. So I talk about marijuana, right? Mm-hmm. I say William Randolph Hearst. He was a white dude who, in the early 1900s, he owned paper mills. He owned newspapers, and the hemp plant was coming up, and they were going to put all the paper mills out of business. Mm-hmm. Right? This is exactly how I tell a joke. And he said, you know what? Start running yellow journalism, and said when black dudes and Mexican dudes smoke marijuana, they rape white women. That's fact. That's what he said.
Mm-hmm.
That's why weed is illegal today. And we know that's the furthest from the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's the yoga pants that does it. You see, like, so I told them a history lesson, told them a lot of things, but they hated. They said they made it out to be a rape joke. So that in a black room, they was like, "Oh, that was a rape joke." Oh, they did not laugh at all. I
Mm-hmm.
told that joke in front of white people. They were in tears.
Now it's interesting. Funny you say rape joke, right?
Yeah.
I remember I was going to see another comedian friend of mine, sister by the name of Corey Bell. She tours with Monique, and it was her, another sister from Chicago, Jess Niche,
Yep.
and
Yep. I know
and
Jess.
Mary Lee, and I forget what the name of that spot was. It was like out in Southfield somewhere, but Jess Niche was up on stage, and she did a rape joke, and she told everybody she was going to do a rape joke. And I'm like, yo, this some risky shit. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody who's gonna go out here and do a rape joke, she like, I'm gonna do a rape joke, and y'all gonna laugh at this shit. And she did it. She executed the joke. I don't know. I don't remember the joke exactly, so I ain't even gonna try to butcher the shit, and y'all gonna try to cancel me. But no, she did the joke and she executed the shit, and like the whole fucking room laughed. They groaned, but they laughed. You know what I'm saying? And so I think it's maybe because of like where the joke is coming from, who the joke is ain't like it's a bunch of different things that can make how people receive it. People receive it differently based on their life experiences and shit. You know what I'm saying? And so I think that plays a big part into whether or not the crowd that you were performing in front of, like, hey man, maybe we never know what the hell everybody's going through when they come to the comedy club and everything else to deal with those sorts of jokes and whatnot. I know folks talk about like the crowds are just too sensitive and shit now.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
I think that there's, as we get into a different age, like just a different type of crowd. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a different type of crowd. Like the type of shit that we used to be able to get away with, you can't get away with as much anymore. Like the sensibilities of the crowds are just different now.
Yeah, yeah, I agree with you. And so, but I still love that joke, and I tell it freely. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the thing, like when I podcast or do my own podcast or even on my page, RDL will tell you my attitude is I don't give a fuck. So if you don't like
I think anybody who knows Keisha don't give a fuck. Like.
Yeah, like, I'm going to wait till we get into this Samuel's conversation because I'm going to talk about my post yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, that went viral?
So I'm going to wait till we step into that because it's going to touch on what I said earlier. Like you can make a post and 1,000 people can agree with it. And I'm one of those people, I engage. So whether I like it or dislike it, I'm going to respond.
Right.
But what we're not going to do is disrespect me. Because when you come on my post, especially if I don't know you and you disrespect me, I'm a dog walk you. So
yeah, I think
definitely happen. Definitely happen.
I think that's everybody though. Like I've had to tell people, like I never forget. I made a post about, it might have been around the Bill Cosby shit when the Bill Cosby shit like first started popping off, and somebody who I barely know, you know what I'm saying? Because it was like friends through the podcasting thing. I don't really know you, but I know you. I understand that you were a listener to the podcast, and then their aunt came on my post and started talking crazy. I said, "Hey man, listen. I ain't got the same reverence for your aunt that you do. You might need to tell her to chill out." You know what I'm saying?
I'm not even giving a warning. I'm
just saying, like, I'm just telling people I don't have the same reverence. You might want to chill out because this ain't gonna go the way that you think it's gonna go. And oftentimes I know we all we'll exercise patience on our friends and our family because we know them. But when you don't have those relationships, you're not exercising that same level of patience. That's just what it is. And so.
Friends and family because you know me, so you should already know.
Yeah, but like I said, we know Keisha just gonna go the fuck off, man. Like,
Keisha
own brand.
If it ain't her mama, her daughter, or her granddaddy, she going off on you.
Keisha own brand for real.
Yeah, and I think that's why people like to have me come on the show because I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say, and they like it if you don't. But it's not gonna make me. It don't change my bank account. I sleep good every night, and at the end of the day, I don't care. You people don't,
Right.
my thing is people gonna like you or dislike you, and so it's not gonna
Yeah.
change people. So I think so many people, entertainers, podcasters, radio talk show, whatever, people are so concerned about their perception that is received by the audience that they're not able to be themselves. Where
Right.
I'm so comfortable and confident in myself that I'm candid, and either you like
Mm-hmm.
it, but I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing for your feelings and your perception of me, because I know my perception of me, and I'm
Yeah.
happy with it. So whether, like, I'm the radio talk show I'm on, a caller called in and she said, I like you because you candid. I am, because I'm not worried about your opinion of me. Versus some people get on there and they want to play this perception, and then when people really know you and the perception you put off on social media don't align, then you fake.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's why I tell people, you can't tell nobody nothing about me because I tell it on myself. I'm not
Exactly.
nothing I do, and you gonna get the real whether you like it or not. Anytime you see me, be prepared for it,
Indeed.
embrace yourself.
Right. No,
Indeed.
no, definitely. She definitely like that. Every time, I don't care if she around my mama. She around. We at the bar. You know what I'm saying? Keisha is definitely herself all the time. Yeah. So I got to give you that. I second that notion.
Indeed.
Second that notion.
Indeed. So check this out. We're gonna get into why we really all together here tonight. YouTuber, relationship coach, relationship advisor, however you want to describe him, Kevin Samuels, passed away this week. I believe they said he was 53 years old. So we're going to get this story here. This comes out of NBC News, all right? It says Kevin Samuels, YouTuber with 1.4 million subscribers, has died. A YouTuber who became known for his controversial relationship advice has died. His mother confirmed to NBC News. Rumors of his death first circulated on social media Thursday night. His mother, Beverly Samuels Birch, declined to release details about what happened. She said she learned of her son's death from social media. So that's a terrible thing for social media to put that out. I didn't even know. I hadn't even been notified. She said in a phone call on Friday, all I'm doing is requesting that people pray for us. The Atlanta Police Department said officers were called to the apartment on East Paces Ferry Road Northeast on Thursday morning regarding a person injured. By the time the police arrived, first responders were performing CPR on an unresponsive man, later identified as Samuels. A woman in the apartment told officers that Samuels had complained about chest pain and that she attempted to help him, but he fell. The police report states the woman called 911. Samuels was taken to Piedmont Hospital, police said. The Fulton County Medical Examiner's Office said in a press release that it performed an autopsy and a cause and manner of death are pending. The office listed Samuels' age as 53. Samuels, who described himself as an image consultant, shared YouTube videos to his more than 1.4 million subscribers discussing topics that included dating and relationships. His views, which many people on social media felt were an attack on black women, often sparked outrage. Last month, he was slammed over a video where he labeled women who were over 35 and unmarried as leftovers. If you have made it to 35 and you're unmarried, you are a leftover woman, he said in the video. You are what is left. Men know there is something likely wrong with you. He also stirred up controversy over videos where he rated women's appearance based on their looks and dress size. Many said his advice was toxic and misogynistic. Following news of his death, many social media users were quick to point out his contentious views. So, first things first, Keish, when you first heard about Kevin Samuels passing, what'd you think? Like, what was your reaction?
He died. I mean, it didn't change. I'm not trying to be funny. I didn't care either way. Like, I'm not a fan. I wasn't a fan of his. I do agree with a lot of things that he say. I disagree with a lot as well. And I just felt like, um, in the nicest way I could say this, I just don't see anything right about mocking or joking or celebrating a death. I don't care what. First of all, I don't care what anybody did. Nothing in my moral compass could let me joke about somebody dying. Nothing in my moral compass will allow me to celebrate and say karma and that's what he get. Not a. I mean, let's think about it. When Martin Luther King died, I'm pretty sure all them white people was like, "That's what he get," and we would have been mad.
Mm-hmm.
Because they man, he was a negative person. He was spilling hate. Him and Malcolm X, they probably celebrated it, but I don't feel like it's death is nothing to celebrate in the sense of, you know, how people say it's a celebration of life. Yeah, it's a celebration of life. But the way people going on social media, like they personally knew this man and attacking him, he still has a family. He still has a mother who loves him. And at the end of the day, Nothing he said, unless it was the truth to you, was that fucking important. Like, I'm over 35. I'm not married. I don't give a fuck if he said I was leftovers or not. It don't matter. His opinion
Mm-hmm.
don't matter. I wasn't trying to chase him. Like,
Mm-hmm.
my opinion of him thinking he was bisexual don't matter.
Mm-hmm.
So I just feel like you got to be in a weird, dark place and uncomfortable and miserable as fuck with yourself to celebrate somebody's death.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I could think of a few motherfuckers I might have a party over. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Like,
Like,
That's fucked up, man. That's fucked
I'm
up.
not. Listen, if Donald Trump kicked the can tonight, nigga, I'm popping bottles, fam. If George Zimmerman died tonight, nigga, I'm popping fucking bottles.
Well, George
Like,
Zimmerman for sure, right?
So
but he killed somebody. He
here's
killed
my point.
somebody.
Here's my point. Here's
Somebody.
my point. Here's my point. Here's where I'm going with this.
Right.
I think when we start talking about, not speaking ill of the dead, first things first, I think, I think we all were brought up in the church and stuff like that. We all got some sort of religious background. But I think also, like, when we start talking about not speaking ill of the dead, 9 times out of 10, we only apply that rule when we like a motherfucker.
I don't even like him, and I just don't.
I get it. Like, you consistent, Keisha. I give you that. I'm just saying, 9 times out of 10. That's what I said. You the 10th motherfucker, Keisha. You the 10th motherfucker, Keisha. I'm saying 9 times out of 10, when we start talking about not speaking ill of the dead, we only apply that rule to motherfuckers we like. And so when you start talking about that man got a family and people that loved him, I'm sure when George Zimmerman kicks the bucket, he got a family and motherfuckers who love him. I'm still gonna pop my bottles. When Donald Trump kicks the can, I'm still gonna pop my bottles. I don't give a fuck about this dude's family. I don't give a fuck about whether or not these people like him. Like, I'm keeping it a buck. Like, because of the ways in which their rhetoric or their policies or their actions affected me and people who look like me and people I love, right?
Right,
So,
but how would you feel like you're in a public platform and you pass and somebody who listens to your show dislikes it and they like, yeah, I'm glad he dead. Your wife got to see that. Your kids got to see that. I'm just sitting here thinking about it like if the shoe was on the other foot and let's say
I hear you.
Don't like you. That could be hurtful to your wife.
Yeah, that's definitely fucked up.
I hear you. I hear you, but I'm gonna tell y'all something right now. Like, my wife is not even really on social media too heavy, and like, I try to get my wife to be more involved. She's not. Like, but also, like, even with, like, I talk to my wife about like I deal with a lot, sometimes, like, I get emails every now and again, people, questioning my rationale, maybe, question some of the things that I say, or like just basically, insulting me, right?
Yeah, I've definitely wrote an email to you and then deleted it. I definitely was like, you tripping, fam.
Right? But at the same time, when you're secure in what you think, and when you're secure in what you believe and how you and what you espouse, it oftentimes means like, hey man, this just comes with the territory. Like, I understand that not everybody's gonna agree with everything I say. If nobody agrees with everything anybody says, you don't agree with your mama on everything that she says, right? So I get all of that, but I like when I'm speaking on a lot of the things, the difference between me and someone like a Donald Trump, or like, let's just say Donald Trump, right? Like, generally speaking, when I'm speaking up, like, to uplift people, not just myself, but those who I believe are being downtrodden along with me, right? People like a Donald Trump or someone like that, they oftentimes will use people's pain to elevate themselves, right? Donald Trump does his shit to like, well, I'm gonna use these people's pain, but it's ultimately to my own political advantage if I can get these people to vote for me and do these things, and I ain't gonna be held accountable for nothing, and I'm gonna fool these people into believing that I give a fuck about them and not do anything for them, but they still gonna support me. It's like, nah, man, I speak on the things that I believe that people should like know and care about. Like, I believe that a woman should have a right to an abortion. I believe that the LGBTQ community should be able to exist unfettered and unbothered by larger society. And oftentimes I get hate from niggas who don't believe those things, right? So
I do. I believe.
Yeah. So ultimately, like, when it comes to like the reason why folks, like, I know people were talking about, there was a celebration of Kevin Samuel's death, right? The other part about that, and I was speaking about this on Facebook too, is like, man, honestly, we don't get to police how other people react to someone who they felt was antagonistic towards them, right?
Or they took
So
it personal because it applied to them.
it might not. It might not have a.
It
might not
definitely
have.
was a personal. They felt it in their heart.
I think.
You would let it fly. You wouldn't take it as an antisthetic attack or feel like it bothered you if it didn't apply to you.
Right. There's no way somebody can make a general statement about black men, and I feel like, you know what? They talking about me. No, I don't care. It don't got nothing to do with me. You know what I'm saying?
I get that. I get that because oftentimes, like, say for instance, there's a statement that's made online, and sisters will make a statement that'll say men are trash, right? We've seen this in various like different, see it in various different ways on social media, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, whatever platform you're on, you've probably seen some version of someone saying men are trash, right? Now, as a man, I could be like, well, damn it, why I got to be trash? You know what I'm saying? Why I got to be all over this? But ultimately, I'm like, there's a couple different ways I could take that. I could say, well, why I got to be trash, or I could be like, well, shit, why does she feel that way? And try to examine why. Say that again.
Or you can say, maybe it's you that's trash because you keep attracting trash.
You could, but you could. There's a bunch of different ways that you could take it. I'm saying ultimately, what I usually when I see a woman say something like that, I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know what her life experience has been, and her life experiences may have brought her to the point where she's like, yo, man, these niggas ain't shit, and that's her mantra going forward because of her life experience. I can't discount her life experience. So I might not necessarily identify and agree with her, but I'm not going to at the same time say that she doesn't have the right she's not valid in her feelings. She may have every reason to feel the way that she does. And so bringing this back to Kevin Samuels, when Kevin Samuels says a certain thing, yeah, it might not necessarily apply to her, but she might know somebody who it may apply to, and she might be mad on that lady's behalf. We don't know. We don't know.
Like, I don't understand. And that's when I'm mad in the business to pay me. Why you even care about somebody else's feeling and be mad for somebody else? That's weird.
We got a comment in the chat room. It says, y'all talking about legacy at the end of the day. Evil people are reckless with their legacy. Kevin Samuels' legacy was built on cruelty towards black women. People who were hurt by him need the space to talk.
Oh, I disagree with that. What was that person named? Silly? Listen, this man started his whole thing because he was talking to black men about their image and how to be a better man. That nobody listened to it at that point. But as soon as he started to do the same to black women, it was a problem. We have to be accountable for our actions. A lot of the shit he was saying is on point.
I've heard a lot of brothers say that. I've heard a lot of brothers say that.
He got a viral video talking to a dude. He asked him, how tall are you? He said 5'10". He said, how much you weigh? He said like 270, 280. He said, oh, you a fat fucker, right?
Yeah, I saw that video.
Right.
That's actually when I first became aware of who Kevin Samuels was.
He then asked him how much money you make. This motherfucker decided to say he made $400 every 2 weeks. And he told him exactly what he needed to tell him. Because he said, oh, you got a big dick? The dude was like, he was like, oh, you don't got a big dick. You know what I'm saying? So nobody, and that was on point. He was telling the dude the truth. You're broke, you're fat, you're funky, and you don't got a big dick. Nobody's gonna want to fuck with you. Nobody had a problem. He said that. Women love that. But he give that same energy to women. Now it's, oh, he toxic. He create no, that's not. No, you got to be able to accept when someone's talking about someone and you like it, and then when it's pointed at you, you got to be able to you got to understand that too.
Yeah,
I'll tell you the craziest thing. I shared a post. I only shared one post from Kevin Samuels ever on my page, and he talked to black men. He said, you shouldn't be trying to date a woman broke. You shouldn't be trying to, if you stay at home or you're not a provider, you shouldn't be dating a woman. Craziest thing, it was like a big response. I had like 500 some comments, and it was mostly men that agreed with it. Like, it was surprising that men was agreeing, like, you can't date broke. And he was calling out men in this video, which I was surprised because I was like, oh, it's gonna cause a lot of controversy. Men gonna be like, oh, fuck Kevin Samuels. No, men were agreeing, and like Ardell said, it's like, it's okay for him to say what men need to do to date a high value woman, but soon as it becomes what you need to do to get a high value man, or you're not a high value woman, or you're low value, or you're too, it's a problem. Like, to me, if you watch most of his videos, I think he went harder on guys than he did on females, but the female videos just went more viral because most guys was like, fuck that nigga. Females was like, oh, he talking about me. They took it personal. Like, I had a guy come on my post that went off on Kevin Samuels. I'm like, you a low value nigga, so you felt attacked. All of the high value dudes was like, they don't care. They didn't put anything into the post. But like, when it goes both ways, when you feel like he's talking to you and you take it personal, male or female, not just men, not just females, then you're mad. But people who feel like they're confident in themselves and they don't give a fuck about what this man and who really made him a relationship expert, or who really values his opinion, and he's still single his damn self. So how can I'm not taking somebody who tells me I'm a leftover at 35 over 35 serious when you 53. So what does that stand about you?
Yeah, and interestingly enough, a lot of the response to his death were pointing out some of those ironies with Kevin Samuels, like the whole thing of like a woman is over 35 being single, like men, something's wrong with her, and Kevin Samuels is supposedly single at 53 years old. They were talking about whether or not he was renting or owning his home. Like, I don't know that man's business like that, but if you were renting, like these were essentially what they were saying was they were pointing out the criticism that Kevin Samuels had for them that he didn't necessarily apply for his own life. And it's interesting in the sense that, like, we've seen a series of there being quote unquote relationship gurus, and they all tend to, at least in my observation, right, they've all tended to like aim their advice towards women, right? Like, remember there was a time where Steve Harvey was out here doing his relationship advice thing, man. Steve Harvey, Think Like a Man, you know what I'm saying? Got a book, had a couple movies come out, you know what I'm saying? Got the 90-day rule and all this other shit. Like, and everybody was like, yo, wait a minute. It took a minute for it to click, but like, wait a minute, man. Steve Harvey been like in and out of marriages for a few times. Like, why are we listening to him? Like, if he can't keep his marriages together, you know what I'm saying? And after a while, you didn't necessarily see Steve Harvey. I mean, he done made his money at this point, right? he done got in and got the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? There was another guy, with Derek Jackson. Derek Jackson was online. He was doing the relationship advice thing, and then it comes out that he'd been cheating on his on his wife and things of that nature. So like the entire relationship advice sort of like genre always tends to skew one way, because like I think and I say that because to a certain degree I don't think a lot of dudes are receptive to it, right? I think a lot of dudes they look at, say for instance, in the same way that like you don't like, if you look at a church, right? A lot of times when you go to church, you find that the churches are the congregation are overwhelmingly women. Very few, like you don't see as many dudes in the church that you used to. Like, you might have a deacon board there, you know what I'm saying? You might see Brother Jones and Brother Boatwright might be up in the pews, you know what I'm saying? But you ain't gonna see Brother Spann done checked out, you know what I'm saying? I'll read my book at the crib, but very seldom will you see the brothers there, because ultimately, like, they'll start looking at the pastor in a sense of like, man, I don't know if this nigga is on the up and up. Like, I remember one of the things that like got me out of the church was, I never forget going back to my grandmother's old church, and like pastor was like in the Bahamas doing missionary work in the Bahamas. And I'm like, nigga, have you seen the neighborhood around your church? Why ain't you doing the missionary work around your fucking church? And like, I checked out, you know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of checked out on the whole going to church thing. And so like, I think a lot of dudes aren't necessarily as receptive to some degree to like the whole relationship advice thing, unless of course they can make someone, and I think Kevin Samuels to some degree did this, they can make it someone else's fault why they don't have someone. And the reason why I think, I see you frowning, B. I see you frowning, but check this out. Check me out now. So I've seen a lot of dudes, man. I've seen dudes in their feelings this week. Like, I have, man. I've been seeing my man's, like, one of my guys. I posted the screenshot on Facebook. I'm sorry, on Instagram. They was like, and one of my guys like, yeah, man, we lost a real one today, right? Talking about Kevin Samuels. I know a dude, bro. I know a guy. One of my ex partners from Chicago. We ain't cool no more. I ain't talked to this nigga in years. But
because you like Kevin Samuels?
No, it was before. It was before the whole Kevin Samuels thing. But I found out later that he was a Kevin Samuels fan. And like, if you go to his Facebook now, you will start seeing like, it's like this nigga was radicalized by Kevin Samuels. Like every
Dr. Umar. Like people be over Dr. Umar.
Like people be about Dr. Umar, right? But it's like every fucking post had something to do with single mothers, single black mothers, single women, period, and their expectations for the type of men that they want.
Somebody hurt him.
I mean, we can all say that, right? We can all say that. But it was weird because like it's like you can see it's like a radicalization. The nigga almost sound MGTOW, like, you know, the men going their own way. And like every other post, I swear to God, every other post was something about a black woman this, a black single mother that, she don't deserve this, she don't deserve that. And oftentimes he'll end the post with, just get a dog and die. And I've seen like that was a phrase that Kevin Samuels would use. And so like, I've seen a lot of brothers use Kevin Samuels. They'll use Kevin Samuels like his quotes or whatever, because to them, the reason why they're by themselves isn't because there's something wrong with them. It's because these women don't know how to act. Their expectations are wrong. Their expectations are too high. They want too much from a nigga, and they're not really prepared to give them that. So ultimately, I think the reason why so many women may have had such a what quote unquote celebratory reaction to Kevin Samuels' death is because they dealing with niggas who were listening to a nigga like Kevin Samuels, who were telling them they're like, yo, man, well, you asking for too much, bitch. Like you 35, you a leftover bitch. Like I can't be fucking with you. Like you got this kid, man. I can't be fucking with you. And they gotta go out into this dating world dealing with dudes, even though they might not necessarily even fuck with Kevin Samuels or listen to Kevin Samuels, but they got to listen to a nigga who like coming at them a certain way because they've been listening to Kevin Samuels. So he got acolytes out here. He got acolytes out here repeating his message as they trying to court them at the same time.
I'll say
so,
that.
Okay.
I have seen. I typically date quote unquote what he would consider a high value dude, right? I have yet to see any high value dudes aligning their perspectives with Kevin's. Not a one. I don't see I've never seen. I've been on a ton of podcasts. I'm a socialite. I've never seen a dude that most women would consider high value aligning their values with Kevin Samuels. Most high value dudes, first of all, they're leaders. They're thinkers. They don't follow another grown man and his thoughts and dictate their life by another grown man that they ain't never met, that's on social media giving his opinion.
Good luck telling these niggas that they ain't high value though, Keisha.
Listen, any man.
Listen.
Good luck telling them niggas that.
Hold on.
Oh, I do.
What we know.
Chick on my page yesterday. You the low quality chick he was talking about. Like, I mean, I'm just saying.
But look, let's be honest, right? We're all from Detroit. Well, Spann, you from Chicago, but
Detroit too.
Yeah, but let's the average income in Detroit is what, 40, 39?
Well, we can go to like the average income in America. Because it's about the same. $39,000, probably like around $39,000.
So all of a sudden, all these niggas is making more than that. And the average is still the same.
Listen, people be fronting on the book, man. Everybody you meeting people's representatives on these social platforms, man. Everybody out here performing, like even to a point. That's the other thing about it, right? So we was talking, like I remember somebody was posting some videos of Kevin Samuels before, like he was Kevin Samuels, and they were talking about some of the some of the content that he was producing, and it wasn't until, as a matter of fact, somebody's in the chat room right now talking about it. Was that so gotta be accurate here. He went viral talking about black women. He didn't go back to dogging men, but like.
That's what you get paid to do. Like that's where he's making money. So he's gonna do
He learned.
Right. So now we go back to, okay, so we could take this back to the whole, controversy stirs up advertising dollars, which wash, rinse, repeat. But
us got kicked off the Spann report. Yeah.
No,
and
but
I caught a guy, a fuck boy, on my show. Right, he was telling his story. His girlfriend was pregnant and he was cheating on somebody in the apartment building. I said, "Oh, you was a fuck boy." He was like, "Damn, you call me a fuck boy?" He was like, "But yeah, I was." Like,
right.
Accountability. Like, most people don't
I know
for their own actions.
I'm gonna make it personal. I know up until I was 33, I was a not shit dude. Meaning I didn't care about I was never faithful. You know what I'm saying? I didn't care. But I also made a lot of money since I was 18. So I've never been an average income guy in my whole life, right? I was always above the curve. So, but I'm not going to, Kevin Samuels can't tell me what type of woman I want, right?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He makes valid points. You can throw shit against the wall until it stick. Some of it's going to stick sometime.
Right.
But that don't make it right. The problem is that women radicalized him because he would say things and they would share because they're mad. Men would laugh at me. I don't know no dude that'd be like, you know what? I'm gonna put on my Kevin Samuels suit today and I'm gonna make hell for all these women. No, niggas want to be loved, man.
I don't know.
Niggas want to be loved.
Like, let's keep it a buck, man. Like, there are now quite a few different podcasts with dudes with similar sorts of like aesthetics and similar sorts of advice in relationships. There's this one podcast network I came across. The shit came up on my YouTube algorithm called what was that? The Roommates. Like I stumbled across The Roommates and I was listening to some of their shit. I'm like, man, this sounds like some Kevin Samuels shit. You know what I'm saying? There's another podcaster. There's like he looks like Middle Eastern or Indian or some sort, and it's him and some other guy, young dudes, man. But now it's like a genre of podcasting to the point it's so bad now to the point where like
they see it's hot.
Everybody's doing it for money. That's the point. All of them are doing it for money. It's so many people who jump into the podcast game because they get into the game thinking about the bread that they can make, and there's no integrity in the shit at all. Like, you know how easy it could be for a nigga to like, you know what, man, my numbers ain't right. I can get out here and just say some wild shit. And like, if I get out here and say this wild shit, man, my numbers gonna go up and everybody just gonna like just start sharing. They might hate my ass, but they gonna share my shit. Like, you know how many people like that got integrity have like thought about it at least once? You know what I'm saying? Like on
for
some
sure.
like truthfully, I could have went that I could have went that way. You know what I'm saying?
What happens is you say stuff like, you know what, I'm gonna just do this one time to get some viewers, but then you get addicted to it. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, so take for instance, like when I first got into podcasting.
Was that before you kicked us off, or
this was before I kicked y'all? Man. but like real talk, when I first got into podcasting, I got into podcasting. There was a brother by the name of Mr. Gates. At the time, his name was Dark Hater, right? And he had this. He was doing the YouTube videos and shit, and that's how I came across him. He was doing these YouTube videos, kind of spoofing hip hop or whatever. I thought the videos and shit were funny, and he told me about his podcast and how to listen to the shit or whatever. And I thought like, all right, cool. This first podcast I ever really listened to religiously was his. And then I did these things on Facebook. I was doing like these random shout outs about some crazy shit like, shout out to the baby mamas that don't wish themselves happy Mother's Day on Father's Day or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Some shit like that. I would do something. And he was like, yo, man, why don't you take these and let me use these for the podcast? And I'm like, all right, cool. So he started using my shout outs on his podcast. And then eventually I started doing my own show. And like, it was modeled somewhat similar to how his was, because ultimately, like I said, his was the first podcast I ever listened to. I didn't know there were other ways to do shows. Right. And we used to do this thing, me and him together on this show. We used to do this thing called the Art of Disagreement. And on the Art of Disagreement, we would have a topic because me and him would talk on the phone and we would debate the topic, whether it be like, it might be Hillary versus Trump, or it might be, gun control, should you have guns or should you not have guns? Those sorts of debates. We would have those debates over the phone, but we was like, well, fuck it. We'll put these out on podcasts, right? We would do the podcast. The only thing about it was, and for me, it became a thing of, I didn't know if this nigga was really arguing in good faith. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't know if he was arguing, like if this debate was something that he was talking about and he really believed the shit that he was saying, or if he was just saying this shit because he thought it would be controversial and it would, it would get views. And I didn't feel good about that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I don't like this, dog. Like I think I was probably drunk when this happened, but like we kind of went into it like for real on the show. Still put that episode out though, like, cause it still got to go out. But I haven't fucked with that dude in like 6-7 years now. You know what I'm saying? Because integrity means something to me. You know what I'm saying? And so what ultimately I think a lot of these folks are doing, man, they come out with these controversial takes on these shows, and it's all about how they can get money, how they can get the views, and it has nothing to do with the message and how people are receiving it. And to some degree, I don't know if that was Kevin Samuels's, like, I don't know if that was his ultimate goal, was just like, well, fuck it, this is a cash grab, I'm going to go ahead and get this money as fast as I can get and whatever else. But all I know is, like, I feel as though he spawned a bunch of other motherfuckers to feel comfortable getting on podcasts, saying some reckless shit. And, that now it's a thing. Now we can say you don't have to, if it don't apply, let it fly and all that other things, but ultimately it's affecting people. People are being affected by it, and that's why
Are they really?
Yeah, it's just like Facebook.
You're seeing it. You're seeing it in the reaction. You're seeing it in the reaction that people are having to his death. It affected folks.
I really think it's weird that you really care about somebody that you don't know, who, like, I wouldn't even take him serious. I was questioning. It was like, if he is he even completely into women? So I can't even take him serious for me to even care enough about his opinion. Like, I'm one of those people, if it's somebody make a post on Facebook I don't agree with, I scroll. It's a video on Facebook I don't agree with. It's Kevin Samuels, I know he about to talk some shit I don't want to hear, I scroll. Like, it's that simple. Like,
that goes back
if you want to antagonize yourself and listen to a person that you don't like, that talk shit, something wrong with you. Because I'm not about to sit and, that's just like you said, you didn't go to that church when you found out they was giving money to the Bahamas and it's work that needs to be done in the neighborhood. Why are you going to go somewhere or listen to something on social media where you don't agree with them? Like, I'm not even going to antagonize myself and let somebody tell me I'm 35 and left over. I already know he about to talk shit. So why I want to sit and listen to him talk shit? Like, for me to disagree with him and be mad? No. Okay, like, so what type of time you got in your life that you want to sit and hear somebody say negative shit that you think apply to you?
We got a comment in the chat here. We got my man Jack Harpy says that genre of women bashing on these podcasts are being listened to and is being applied in real life.
But I think it goes both ways. Like, women bash men, black women bash black men, and black men bash black women. It's on both sides evenly. No one does it more than the other. We talk shit about each other. But guess what? We still love each other. You know what I'm saying? We still gonna go out here. I still want me a sister. I'm gonna talk stuff about y'all black buckethead asses. But guess what? I'm gonna go to this bar right now, and I'm about to see if I can find me a buckethead right now. You know what I'm saying? So I think that the problem is women sell, right? Anything with women sells. Men, we don't consume like women. They watch more TV than we do. Tell me how many times you watch a show with your girl. She be like, come and watch this.
Nah, normally I'm the one to ask her to come watch some shit with me.
See, but you know what? That goes back to your opinion, though. Because you know what I'm saying?
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. I'm that 10th nigga, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you 10, right? So, but what I'm saying is, women be like, don't watch this show without me. You know what I'm saying? Women drive everything. If we could, men, we wouldn't buy nothing. We would sit up here in the house without no shower, just laid up. But we do things because we want women. Everything is because we want women. Even these podcasts, we want them. We just want them to act right how we want them to act. We still got to get ourselves together too.
And I'm gonna give you a story. I was in Miami this past weekend, right? I go there a lot. I went to a new club on South Beach called Vendom. So the first time I went, the guy was like, it was me and my friend, and they say, oh, it's $150 to get in, right? So people, it's a line. People start leaving like $150. I'm out of here. So then the guy points to me and my friend, and he was like, how many of y'all? I said, it's just us two. We walk in, he like, oh, it ain't no cover charge. I go back again. This when I was just in Miami, and they let me in. It's a lot of people in there. Let me in for free. I was by myself. And it's like a club like Floyd Mayweather, Rick Ross. It's like a big celebrity club. It's across the street from DJ Khaled restaurant. So I talked to the security, and he tells me, he says, I said, why y'all acting funny like y'all only let certain people in? He was like, we have a certain caliber. He was like, they even told security, we have a certain caliber of women that we let in here. Because if you have nice looking women, then it's going to drive men in who like to spend money. He was like, so we don't let, he kept it real with me. He was like, we don't let big women in. We don't let women in that wear a lot of colored hair. He's like, we really don't even let too many black women in. And you got to have a certain look for black women. He was like, most of these girls walking around here on South Beach that's touring. He was like, they look ghetto. We're not letting them in. He was like, women, you have to have nice women, and it has to, women drive men and men spend the money. And that's back to your point. Is like the women bring the money, the biggest consumers, or they make men spend money. Look how OnlyFans blowing up. Men spend it. It make men spend money.
And but the funny part about even with the OnlyFans thing, right? Even with, like it's a weird thing, right? So we can talk about like, you know, women drive, you know, the consumerism or whatever, and men do these things because they want women. But at the same token, a lot of times these be the same niggas who are talking about the women only want them for their money, and the women only want them, you know, for their ability to provide. And it's like, and they get upset at these things, but they don't understand that like it was the dudes who set up the rules to begin with.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, we set up.
I agree with you.
We set up these fucking rules. So like, you the reason why you take out the trash, that's a man's job. Take out the trash. Like, and so when she on your head about taking the trash out, nigga, you can't complain because like, yo, all your life you've been told, yo, that's a man's job to take out the trash. Like, so like there are these things that like so many dudes will complain about a woman's wants or a woman's desires, and ultimately what it boils down to is you got a bunch of dudes who aren't necessarily meeting the like they don't make the cut. You got a bunch of dudes out here not making the cut. And so these are the guys who like will follow someone like a Kevin Samuels and elevate Kevin Samuels' rhetoric to a point like, yo, man, so yeah, Kevin Samuels out here spitting that real, because again, it boils down to, listen, it's not my fault that I'm by myself. These women are the ones who ain't acting right. These women are the ones who got too many expectations. These women are the ones who got their degrees and they throwing their degrees in my face. These women are the ones who making me feel like less than. And so it boils down to Kevin Samuels became an avatar for a lot of these dudes. You can't convince them they're not high value, quote unquote, high value dudes. There's a lot of dudes who glom onto that and they use that rhetoric, and then they go out into this dating world and then they start talking that Kevin Samuel shit. They start talking that roommate shit. And now the women are like, yo, man, where is this coming from? And then they find out where it's coming from. And that's where the heat Kevin Samuels gets, because they dealing with the niggas who are listening to this nigga and like, yo, man, where the fuck do you get off with this shit that you talking?
I ain't never met no guy that talk no Kevin Samuels. He mad at the world. I just never met them type of dudes. Like the dudes I just don't know. It hasn't been my experience. I've never dated a dude like that. And I'll tell you, like I had my daughter at 30. So I told people like dating relationships, I'm honest. I told the dude, I'm focused on, motherhood. I can't give you what you properly deserve in a relationship because I'm focusing on my child and adjusting to being a mother. I don't even want to waste your time. Most people don't even be honest and just tell them like, I'm honest. I'm single because I'm focused on my kid and my career and my business. Now, if you want to be in a situationship, you want to hang every now and then or date casually, that's all I can offer you. I don't want nothing serious. I even told myself I didn't want to get married before I was 40. That was being married before 40 was
man, you leftovers, man. What are you doing?
I'm fine with being leftovers. I'm fine with it. Like a man in a relationship or a husband doesn't validate who I am. Me being a good mother validates who I am. Me going to watch,
or just being a good person. Just being a good person.
I am. Yeah, I'm being a good person. Being a blessing, feeding the homeless and giving free advice. That validates who I am. A man and saying I got a husband doesn't validate me. And most people think that they're validated. Like, I have a lot of friends from college. They over 40, over 45, no kids, no husband. They're career successfully, but they had that picket white fence. I'm going to college. I got to have a baby. Like, I know I'm going to college. I got to get married and have a baby. That wasn't never my goal. And now you're looking at 50 and it didn't align. It's not going to align for everybody like that. That picket fence, fairy tale, go to college, get a good job, get married. It doesn't happen for everybody. And then sometimes it just doesn't happen till after you 40. People want to put
50, or maybe it happens when you're 50.
Yeah, but I think that's the one thing I totally disagree with Kevin Samuels about. Like, you don't know what this lady over 35, her life goals was. She might have wanted to focus on getting her master's, getting her degree, starting a law firm before she decided that she want to be in a relationship, because she might have knew that she couldn't give a man what he fully deserves, the attention, the submissiveness to a man. I know when I get married, I want to commit to my husband. I'm not in a place where I can be submitting to you because I'm focused on certain things with myself and my child before I can give them to a man.
Okay, so we got a series of comments here in the chat room. Family, we got Stephanie here in the chat room. She says, number one, the bashing isn't equal. Why? Because when men give their input, it isn't considered bashing. Women holding men accountable is considered bashing when men don't like what they are saying. Number two, marketing tools do point to many industries catering to women as the consumer. However, it's not as many as you would think. Alcohol, automotives are geared towards men. Clothing is geared towards women. Number three, Kevin Samuels started with men. He told men they had no value if they were broke. If you listen to his rhetoric, he only says men have value if they have money. And she finishes it off. She says, I appreciate Keisha being honest because I know she's being honest. However, just know that there have been women who have been that honest in Kevin Samuels Zoom calls, and he called them shit.
And if you know my personality, anybody know me, we'd have probably been arguing. Because I'd have probably called him every bisexual down low. Every thought I would have had, it would have came out. So he probably had the right people on that show. Because my confidence and the way I value myself wouldn't allow him to talk to me like that. Because I'm going to talk just like you talk to me. You're going to get the same energy you give with me. Sorry, I was looking at your comments, Stephanie.
No, but here's where we go back though, fam. Those are the same women. Like, okay, so these are the people who ultimately may be, quote unquote, celebrating his death.
I just can't celebrate nobody's. I
hear
mean,
you.
Unless we're doing a celebration of life, I'm not celebrating nobody's death. But at the end of the day, we all got to be on Judgment Day, and I don't want God to be like, you were celebrating that man's death. I'm not going to hell for nobody but myself. Keisha action's gonna get me to hell, not that one.
Listen,
I hear you, but I feel like this. I feel like when like, okay, because the name of this episode is like, you will know them by their fruit. And when you see this level of reaction to the death of someone, like when you see so many people being happy that
it was strong fours and fives. Not no decent.
I'm not rating these motherfuckers, but I'm saying this: when you see this level of reaction to someone's death, and it's not on some mournful shit, it's more so on some possibly celebratory, indifferent sort of thing. Like, that is indicative of the type of energy that they put out into the world, man. Like, if it was somebody who was out here putting out good shit, like, you don't get this same reaction. There's a reason why you don't get. Like, say for instance,
people I see that responded to him are always negative in general. Like the people that I've seen that have been negative are people who are just negative in general. If it wasn't Kevin Samuels, it was gonna be Donald Trump. If it wasn't him, it was gonna be Cicely Tyson. They just mad at everybody.
So I don't know anybody I didn't see anybody who was like, oh my God, I'm so glad Cicely Tyson gone. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody said that. Nobody said that.
Mad and they're not happy.
They probably was like, oh my God, Cicely Tyson gone. I thought she was gonna live forever. Cicely Tyson was still working at like 90.
But I'm saying my point is the people who are mad are the people who are normally always mad about something. They mad about us posting about God. They mad about gym shoes. They mad about voting. Who are just mad.
Them niggas like, you can't enjoy life at all. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they are just most people.
These niggas in line for the Jordans again. Like these, we talk about them. I'm just talking about like
most of the people that I see posting are people who are mad in general. Like the lady that came on my post. She came on my post when I made the post. I said, it's disheartening or something to the extent that to see people be so insensitive about this man's death, mocking and laughing at it. And I said, you are the women that he said that will never get a high value man. I made a post. Some random lady.
I think she represents the minority, and that goes back to that one person we was talking about before, Keisha. That one person.
Came on there and said that.
So I'm saying this though. I'm saying that like there's a lot of folk who had a indifferent or somewhat celebratory, reaction to Kevin Samuels' death, and I'm saying that the reason why Kevin Samuels' death prompted that reaction was because these people felt antagonized by Kevin Samuels.
How you antagonized?
So you don't have, I get that. I hear you.
But what you don't have to listen to. You don't have to watch his post.
You don't have to do any of that. You don't have to do any of that.
Do y'all watch Real Housewives? Nothing. Y'all don't watch Real Housewives.
I watch Atlanta. I watch Atlanta Housewives. I be watching the Atlanta Housewives.
Saying, any show y'all don't want to watch, I don't watch it. Man.
I be watching the Atlanta Housewives, and every now and again I might check out the Potomac one. But check this out, because they got black people on there. I'll be watching for the black people.
But any show you don't want to watch, you don't watch, right?
I don't watch them. But same thing with Kevin Samuels. Like I saw even the thing that Ardell was talking about with when he was talking about the fat dude or whatever, right? And he was going in on whether or not he had a big dick and all this other shit. Like I seen that. That was the first time I had ever become like aware of who Kevin Samuels was. But I didn't consume his shit on the regular because I'm like, that shit ain't for me. Like
right.
But it wasn't.
But you're a married man. You're a married man, right? So right. The thing is, I'm a dude that's dating, right? So he says a lot of things that I deal with women. He says a lot of it, right? I'm not saying I'm a subscriber of Kevin Samuels. No, I'm not, because I don't need him to tell me how to be me. I'm a 40-year-old man who has been great at a lot of things already. But he does have a point about a lot of things, and it's entertainment. It's just entertainment. That's another issue.
So when people hear you say that, though, like sometimes he makes good points. Like there's going to be a contingent of people who be like, yo, man, a broken clock is right twice a day. Like every now and again, somebody's going to say something and it makes sense to you and it resonates. And okay, so cool on that. But there's other shit that he's saying I don't really rock with, right?
Right.
But I'm going back to the what my original point though was like when it comes to the reaction that people are having. Is that like it's because these people felt antagonized by this person
because they took it personal.
You can say they didn't have to consume it. You can say they took it personal. All I'm saying is these folk felt antagonized by this individual, and so when someone feels antagonized or they felt victimized, whatever the case may be, you then don't get to police what their reaction is to the person whom they thought was being harmful towards them or people who look like them. And that's why I go back to the whole thing of we apply this idea of not speaking ill of the dead to the motherfuckers we like, because there's a few people. There's quite a few people. I get it. I know we know you that 10th person, Keisha.
I just think it's really
you
weird.
You the 10th person.
I just really find it weird that people are just like, how could you give somebody that you don't know that much energy? Like the one lady that was on my post. But I looked at her page. Every post since he died, she's posting him, talking about him, bashing him. Before he died, she was cute and mute. She ain't had shit to say about him. No, don't have that. I'm one of those people. Had that same energy when he was alive. You was quiet as a mouse. Keep that same damn energy. Right. Now you want to dick ride his and clout chase off of him dying. Like this is another. To me, is like now y'all just want to clout chase and try to ride the tail of a dead man. Right. You're doing it for attention because I think it's weird. It's weird as fuck for anybody who's grown as hell to celebrate anybody dying. That could be, I could say, you know what, Spann? I hate when you say this. When you die, I'm like, yes, he gone. His show got on my, no, I don't care. Like, why do you care about somebody that you don't know that honestly, he contradicts himself and he even say he's not a high value man himself. So why do you take his opinion so serious unless you feel like you not have value or you feel like you leftovers? Because can't nothing a person I don't know affect me that much that I'm gonna let them send me to hell.
No. I don't know if I'm going to hell for it, Keisha.
I don't know.
Listen, I don't believe in heaven or hell.
I don't know if I'm going to hell.
That was just a figure of speech. I'm not serious. Like,
I
don't want nobody on here thinking I'm being serious.
Man.
I'm joking. God. I'm just joking with that.
I hope Jesus don't put you on a committee to tell people to come in and out.
No, that was jokingly. But
hey, you know how many? Hey, if Keisha on the committee to send motherfuckers to hell or heaven, man, we gonna be at the gates like, oh shit.
No, that was a joke, but I just don't understand like why are people putting so much stock in a man that clearly he told you he wouldn't have value himself. He 53 trying to tell 35-year-olds what they need to do.
Listen,
granddaddy, uncle, you should be worried about some other goddamn thing else.
We are
you like one step away from AARP and you worried about what 35-year-olds doing.
Oh, and Spann, I got a beef with one of your posts, which you made a joke that definitely would have bombed.
Which one was it?
You said what you say. I said, come on.
Yeah. I know which one you're talking about. Yeah. Let me find out. Kevin Samuels didn't have high value health insurance.
Yeah, I was like, this dude, right? I said, no, for real, man. That's the joke you say.
No, man. I'm just it was some random shit, man. Like, cause ultimately, like, as I said, man, I feel like when I listen to, because I listen to a lot of women, man. I do. I listen to the things that they say. I am concerned about what women, how they feel about shit. I do. I am genuinely concerned, and I listen to what they say. And oftentimes what I hear about Kevin Samuels from a large number of women is that they felt antagonized by Kevin Samuels. Now, whether or not those were feelings that they should have had is not for me to determine. But I know a lot of women who were like, yo, man, this nigga is harmful and like his rhetoric is harmful. I'm dealing with niggas who are listening to this nigga and applying his shit in their dating lives, and I shouldn't have to. And they didn't have any, you know, they didn't have any.
Sorry.
And they probably leftover women that he was talking about. Shit.
I'm sorry. I don't even want to deal with this is why my circle. If I don't even want to deal with a group of women who felt attacked by a possible download. I'm sorry. I don't even put that value in what you say. Like, I don't understand how he can antagonize you. Like, I don't even understand how you could even get that upset about a dude that we weren't even clear what he was doing his damn self.
Well,
to give out advice.
I think ultimately is because some of the things
it applied to them. It applied. They got 5 or 6 kids.
I think ultimately what happened was this.
They low value. They have self-esteem issues.
I think ultimately what happened is this. There are dudes who listen to Kevin Samuels. I know one personally who like quotes Kevin Samuels all the time, has hateful shit that he posts all the time about sisters, about black women, about black single mothers, all the fucking time. And these dudes go out and pursue women, but they pursue women with the attitudes that they've garnered from listening to a nigga like Kevin Samuels. And so when these women are dealing with dudes who are following this sort of advice, they want to know, where did you get this fucking, how did you get to this point? Like, why are you acting like this? Why is
First of all, you shouldn't date a grown man that's listening to another grown man. First of
all,
hold
on. First of all, Keisha. They might not even necessarily know that this nigga is listening to Kevin Samuels. Women might not even, some of these women might not even know who the fuck Kevin Samuels is, and they find out, hey, this nigga, like, you go, like, say for instance, I had this one sister tell me, she like, yo, I went on this date with this nigga, he was talking about he a high value man, all this other shit. And like, I ain't gonna lie, I've seen niggas like suddenly high value man is some like in the vernacular on the social medias. It wasn't before. Like, it became a part of the vernacular. Like, all of a sudden, all these niggas is high value men.
I've never said that. I've
never said it personally, but I've seen other motherfuckers say it, right? So when these dudes go out and they're trying to date and get with these women, and then suddenly, you know, it goes left and he starts saying some shit that he probably got from Kevin Samuels or the roommates or whoever else. Like, now they like, well, how the fuck did we get here? And so now they like, they searching like, where the fuck did I go wrong? Maybe what's wrong with me? And then they find out, like, here's this guy, Kevin Samuels. He says a lot of this shit. And this nigga I went on a date with, he was saying a whole lot of the same shit that this nigga was saying. So this is where he got this shit from. Cause he sure as shit didn't come up with it on his own.
Right. Okay.
I'm gonna give some dating and Satan advice.
Hold on, Keith. And this is my honest opinion. People that take Kevin Samuels' advice never got bitches. Like, Like niggas,
facts.
I'm telling you,
Facts.
like, yeah,
Facts.
I listen to him. I listen to what he's saying. Yeah, because it's entertainment. It's just like TV. Anybody that takes Kevin Samuels' advice never got no bitches, like, in their life until they made some type of money. Never got no bitches. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
That's all I'm saying. But it's still entertaining.
Okay, but them niggas still out there pursuing though.
But
Yeah,
okay,
I mean, they have to.
I'm gonna get some dating Satan advice. This goes back to red flags. If I meet you in the first conversation, I'm asking a couple of questions. I get some red flag answers that might be Kevin Samuel-ish. Okay, have a good night. Well, you ain't even got to walk me to my car. I'm gonna block you. Like, you can have, if you see them vibes, because you don't get them on the first or second date if you ask them quantifying questions. You ask them, and you can see some Cameron 7 vibes or some negative stuff, or he got some abandonment issues, or he got some hate towards women, and you still decide to date him because you're so pressed to have a man and have a title. It ain't his fault. You chose to stay because he done gave you signs.
Okay, so check this out.
Most women be trying to ignore him because they so pressed. You over 35 or 40. Oh, I just want a man. It's time for me to get a man. A man gonna tell you and show you exactly who he is and how he thinks.
So we got the homie.
Most women choose to stay.
We got the homie Cook in the building. Cook then finally showed up. What's going on, sister? How you feeling?
I'm good. I came in the middle of a sermon here. I was like, oh, this is preaching.
Wait, Cookie, why you got the sex lamp on? Hold on. Oh, naughty ass lamp.
Because I'm grown.
Oh,
sexy.
Yeah.
I can. Like, I'm confused, but I'm glad you like it.
Thanks. Yeah, no, it's definitely sexy than a bitch. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah. I just stepped in. I'm chilling. This Sunday is Mother's Day. I'm still sober. You know.
Shout out to Cook being sober at 8:30 in the evening though.
Like, there's so much. I didn't get drunk. I didn't reenact Mommy Dearest today. Like, it's a lot I didn't do.
Okay.
I was a responsible adult.
Okay, so how was your Mother's Day?
Okay. First of all, it was chill. My daughter, bless her heart, she's 15, y'all. She got me my present. His name is Sir Farts a Lot.
Okay.
And I love it.
What the fuck is the Sir Farts a Lot though? I'm
a bear from Build-A-Bear. His name is Sir
okay. Okay, there we go. All right. So we've been talking this Kevin Samuel shit. And I know you was dying to talk about, Kevin Samuels and, his passing.
Hold on. In honor of his death, Cookie, what's
said,
your dress size? What's your dress size?
How was that gonna honor him? I'm not here to honor him, actually.
Lord.
I'm between a 12 and a 14. Why? What you think? Because of my size, I can't talk shit.
No. I was just messing with you. You know, that's what he.
He doing what Kevin Samuels would have did.
See, okay. So here's the deal with Kevin Samuels. You all know that if we go back to his previous content, he was nothing like this. He was completely different. He had a totally different approach. He had a different message. He was actually telling men at one point, like, y'all need to step y'all shit up, like, da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
But the truth is, it wasn't selling. It was not, that was the mid, so he went to the gas. Talk about black women. And so here's the deal. Here's the issue here with that. Number one, a lot of the how do you explain it? But a lot of what is handed down to black men from older black men is false. The Robert Moynihan report, a lie. Alpha males, that report is a lie. So the Moynihan report is when they were like, welfare took the black fathers out the homes, blah, blah, blah. That whole report, that white man lied his ass off. It's not true. Mm-hmm. Because the truth is, in order to qualify for welfare, you couldn't have a man in the home. So that means that nigga left already. He was gone by the time you apply for the benefits. And you can
that's not true.
It's true.
I'm gonna let you talk.
It's true. And this is what I'm saying. A lot of the things that is the foundation for your approach to women in your blackness is false. It's a complete lie that somebody made up. Robert Moynihan was a white man who made that report up out of thin air. And if you Google it, it's a fact. The man who said, "Oh, alpha male wolves are alpha males and do this and that," he even himself had to come back and say, it's not true.
He said that was some bullshit.
He made it up. The truth is, your average wolf is a mom and a dad, and their children are in the pack.
The only time,
ain't no alpha.
As a matter of fact, the whole alpha male thing actually came up. They were talking about wolves in captivity. He wasn't talking about wolves in the wild. So like anytime you hear a brother talking about he's an alpha male, it's like, so niggas, are we locked up here, bro? Like, what are you talking about? That's
Listen,
like alpha beta male, all that is bullshit. That part is bullshit.
A lot of black men do have I call it tricknology. It's where it's just a bunch of nonsense that, I mean, it's just like Hotep knowledge. Some of that stuff is made up. You sprinkle a little fairy dust on it, and then you have a philosophy. And the point is that time and time again, you are shown that when you take these steps and you live and conduct yourself this way, you end up a certain way. When we tell young boys, okay, if you want to be a thug and you don't want to be productive, this and it, you got two choices: jail or the penitentiary. And now this single boogeyman that y'all keep throwing at black women, oh, you gonna be alone, you ain't gonna have no man. Honey, no one's scared of being alone. We have assessed the situation, and I can tell you now, the thought of getting out of my shower at 63 years old and slipping on a bar of soap and breaking my neck is not my worst fear. And if I do die, trust me, somebody's coming to mourn me. Somebody's coming to check on me. Somebody's going to say, hey, what if I ain't talking to my mama, my sister, my friend, somebody? But your average man, sweetie, let me tell you something about Kevin Samuels. He was a fraud. Everything that he said you needed to be high value, he himself did not possess.
True. Facts.
Period. And then he gonna die in a hotel. How did he die? On top of me? He gonna die in a hotel with some trick he just met the night before, and she didn't even have the human decency to pick up his phone and go through it and try to find somebody to call them to say, hey, this man died. His mama found out he died because she turned on the news. Sweetie, that's what happens to people who are alone. That is what happens to men who have nobody. He's got 2 failed marriages, 2 children that don't want nothing to do with him. And let's talk about a lot of these men. And here's another thing that y'all don't talk about. A lot of these men who were Kevin Samuels' age, because that man was damn near 60 years old talking that bullshit.
Preach.
That was an old ass man. He's a joke, a game. I would have laughed at him if he approached me in the club like, sir, you're too old for me. I don't want you. Preach. And then the thing about it is that you have these men who gravitate to what he says, and y'all holding on to it, not paying attention to the fact that you don't have good relationships with your homies. And half the niggas you hang with, you don't fuck with them. They don't fuck with you. They'll fuck your wife, your kids. They'll do anything to you they can. Because on one hand, when you talking to your daughter, it's all men ain't shit. But when you talk to me, well, you got to, choose better. It's a Uchi Wally or one mic. On one scenario, y'all ain't shit completely. On the other one, it's my fault. We tired of it. Also, too, there is no gender war. There is no war between black men and black women. Black women are not trying to take you down. We're not trying to fight you. We're not trying to hurt you. We don't want anything from you other than the love and affection and the support that we can naturally give to you. All we're saying is give it back to us in return. You could date white women, you could date Latino, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do. But when the police come after me, take to the streets for me, like I'm a dude for you. It's way too many scenarios where y'all talk about black women ain't did nothing for me. But your mama, your sister, your auntie, everybody, every woman in your life at some point done did something for you. And if she not doing it for you no more, it's because you fucked her over. Period. Because don't nobody give up on you. Y'all can go out here. You can make babies all over the place. You show one picture of your kid on Father's Day. You're a good father. Oh, you're good. We need more men like you. No, good and well, you in arrears. You just see that motherfucker every other Sunday or once a month or once a year. We give you the benefit of the doubt constantly. And then you talk about Kevin Samuels. Like, bruh, let me tell you something. The truth is, most of these men out here, y'all don't know yourselves. You don't know what you want. You don't know how to make yourselves happy. You're miserable. All you do is play games. You lie to get what you want out of people. And then when somebody catch you, you lie some more. You ain't never just be like, you know what, my bad. I've never heard any of y'all just approach a bitch like, you know what, I'm really just trying to fuck. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want your number. I don't want to get to know you. But y'all come through with the, well, what you want, what you like. I do it for you. Da-da-da-da. You do all that stuff to get our defenses down. And when we let them down, oh, you a stupid bitch because you believe me.
Cookie, who hurt you?
We don't win with you.
Cookie,
so that's why
Cookie,
we stop
who hurt you? Who hurt you, Cookie?
Nobody
hurt your ass.
No, they didn't.
You came in this motherfucker with opinions, and opinions, girl. Yeah, about the same.
Yep, I sure did.
But I think that most men.
But no, look, you made a lot of
wasn't raised by a man. Like most men.
I was raised by a man.
Wasn't raised by a man.
I was raised by a man.
Yeah, but I'm saying most men who listen to Kevin Samuels wasn't raised by men. Like I had
my dad would have never listened to Kevin. My dad would have looked at Kevin Samuels and called him the F word. No bullshit.
Yeah, that's why a fuck boy. Like that's why I
wasn't saying that, but thank you for saying that.
She's saying the 80s F word. The 80s F word.
Oh, I'm telling you the type of man my dad was. And now he didn't say it like that because he wasn't my dad actually wasn't misogynistic. My dad was the kind of man that other men, raggedy niggas, would call a simp because he respected my mother and came home every night. And he raised me and my sister. So no. A lot of these men who follow him and think that's cute, I could tell you ain't got no daddy.
Yeah, preach.
I can tell you ain't got no daddy. Because let me tell you something.
Oh, I agree with you. I agree with you.
I can tell you right now. I run into a lot of men. They be like, you just too much. I act just like my daddy. You can't relate? You don't recognize it? It don't look familiar?
Yeah, I'd rather my daughter act like her mother than me, right? I want her to be soft.
I act like my mama too.
Soft and loving. Because if
I
act like my mama too. Never have a man.
I don't give a damn, honey.
My granddad used to always tell us when somebody came to pick us up, like I had older cousins that live with my granddad. He would always say, if a guy come to the house and honk this horn, and ain't no hoes in here, he better come to this porch and introduce himself, come to the door. And people don't even do that with their kids now. You let your kid go to prom, a guy dance on her dress, standing on her dress. Like men aren't even teaching women how to be respected by a man. My granny used to always tell me, if you've been with a man 5 years and he ain't married you, he's not gonna marry you.
You know what? My auntie, she told me, if you lay down with a man and he disrespects you, don't ever lay down with that man again.
Exactly. And people be putting it on Kevin Samuels, but sometimes they need to put it on themselves. Because you allow shit because you don't want to be alone, because you done put up this image to your friends and social media that you in this perfect relationship and everything is, oh, we got to
first thing about the chick, just like her because she got a big booty and she cute. Your homies will like her. You don't want to date the chick you really like because she got a unibrow. Niggas are gonna make fun of you, so you can't be with her, but you want to keep her in the closet and shit. But the point with Kevin Samuels, now that I'm learning, because we know now that misogyny is a branch of the white supremacist tree. Period. You're not for freedom or liberation if you are willing to oppress anybody, be they male, female, by their gender, their sexuality, whatever the issue is. One thing that people fundamentally do not understand about Black women, when we say we are here to be free, we mean that shit. We're not putting our boot on nobody's neck, and we not tolerate anybody who puts their boot on anybody's neck. I don't believe you if you come to me as a Black man and say you are for the liberation of our people, but you are homophobic. I don't trust you. If you are misogynistic, I don't trust you. And the thing about it is a lot of y'all are just misogynistic. That's really the point. It's so ingrained and entrenched in how you're socializing, what you think and what you say and how you act. It's gotten to the point where it's just a turnoff. I personally blame NWA. But that's neither here nor there. That's a way we gotta go way back for that. I don't got time. But keeping it on Kevin Samuels, we know that incel culture is a tool for white supremacists to radicalize men, and they become terrorists. And now here's the deal with Black men. It's true. You laugh.
Hey, look,
y'all laugh.
Hey, look, I be with you, Cookie, and then you just jump off the deep end.
Y'all laugh. But there was a mass shooter.
I went you, and then you was like, man,
no, actually, it is terrorism. Because now there was a mass shooter in California. He wrote a manifesto like he couldn't get any women.
I remember that guy.
He shot down about 6 people. If you look at these mass shootings and read their manifestos, they're incels.
No, so right before you
They're
came on, Cookie,
incels.
right before you came on,
Involuntary celibates.
I said that the people that not listen to Kevin Samuel, but go out in the world and regurgitate his jargon, they never got no bitches.
That's not the point. See, the thing about it
I'm just saying, you said the incels. That's what.
No. You said they ain't never got no bitches. Let me tell you something. That's not the point. The point is that now they've convinced themselves that they can't talk to women, they can't relate to women, and they can't get a date versus actually working on themselves to be someone that a woman would want to talk to and date.
Right.
They don't do any of that either. So then they get angry and they get upset, and the most dangerous thing is an angry man. And I don't know why a lot of people aren't realizing how violent men are. And now we're starting to see every day, 4 Black women are murdered. Every day, 4 Black women are murdered.
I just had to put CPO on my ex, so I understand. He bust my window out.
Looking into the statistics and the data on domestic violence in the Black community, it's a problem. And somehow Black men have created this narrative where everything is everybody's fault. The children are to blame. Women are to blame. Weave is to blame. Your eyelash is to blame. Let me tell you something. Elon Musk and Donald Trump, I mean, for all the dastardly bullshit that they do, they are amassing wealth. And then you know what the fuck they're doing? This nigga Elon and Richard Branson were and Jeff Bezos were in a space race building rocket ships. What are niggas doing? Niggas are on here online arguing about weave all goddamn day. Y'all know how silly y'all look? And do you know how silly you look trying to, y'all are ready to go to war with us. Y'all are ready to fight us. It don't take much for y'all to try to throw hands with us. You want to argue with us constantly, get physical. And then you know what it is. The part where you wonder why we don't respect you. If you had half that energy for the police, we might take you serious. The truth is, you do not do anything about your real enemy, which is other white men. They mowed y'all down wholesale during the Obama years, shot one of y'all every day and killed y'all. And who took to the street for you? Black women and the gays. And it was some gays out there protesting. And it was other Black men who walked up to them talking about, what's your S-word doing up in here?
Yeah.
And they on the street because somebody killed you. But if a Black woman died, only 3 people show up.
I remember when Black Lives Matter, the actual movement of Black Lives Matter became a thing. One of the biggest contentions that folks had about it was that there were 3 queer Black women that was like the lead of Black Lives Matter.
They were pissed about that.
Like folks like who was that? Umar Johnson would come out and say shit like, because we know Umar Johnson ain't necessarily like friendly to the gays. He's just not. So I remember one of the things they would talk about was like, yo, this isn't our movement. The gays are usurping our movement. And, this isn't about Black lives. It's about them like destroying the Black family.
He was kind of right. Years later,
excuse me, right. But how many gay men are having sex with Black women and not raising the babies? How many gay men have sex with Black women and don't stick around to raise the baby? How are gay men responsible for fatherless homes? Explain that to me, sir.
I don't know any man that don't take care of
kids. You scapegoating gay people. Stop it.
I don't know any.
Straight men are making these babies and not raising them. Single parent households are created by straight people. Stop scapegoating gay people.
At the same time, women are choosing these men knowing they ain't shit. Let's be real.
Stop. We have to stop that too.
I'm gonna be honest.
We gotta stop saying that too.
No, it's being stuff. Gotta be real. We gotta be real. We gotta take accountability for our actions. I've been that woman. I
listen.
It wasn't the best, and I chose him because I wanted to have a baby. We always want to blame the man, but we don't want to take accountability for what we do.
When we talk about family and things like that, I don't see it that way. What I'm talking about.
Do we? You
can get in a relationship and things don't work. What do you get in a relationship and things don't work? Like, how old were you when you had your kids?
32.
32. Okay. So you're 32. Are you in your 40s now by chance?
I'm about 42.
Okay. Boom. You know there's a difference between you at 42 and 32. What you thought you wanted and what you needed. And at that time and in that moment where you were. That's where you were, right?
I knew in that moment what I was dealing with and who I was dealing with.
Right. But the point is, I'm talking about men who don't raise their kids.
But I'm saying we, as women, we know we get into it with in a relationship with a nigga that already got 5 kids and he ain't taking care of them. And then you think, oh, miraculously he gonna take care of yours. No, he ain't took care of them 5, taking care of yours either. It's highly unlikely.
But wait a minute, stop. But let's talk about this. How are you conditioned to look at a man with 5 kids? But you don't look at a man with 5 kids the same way you look at a woman with 5 kids.
But I'm saying is women.
You look at a woman with 5 kids, she got poor pussy management. Something wrong with her, but you look at a nigga with 5 kids. Well, do he take care of them? He may take care of 3 out of 2. That's still a good man.
We keep on saying that it's the man, but at the same time, it's women who choosing man that you know he ain't taking care of his kids. You know he stay in his mama basement. You know he barely want to work, but then you go up and fuck him raw and have a baby and think, oh, he gonna get it together. No, he ain't had the shit.
No, that's not how that works.
But see, he ain't gonna start now.
Right now, that right there, that is female women accountability, women holding themselves accountable for the choices that they make and who they choose to partner with. That is one topic in itself. And yes, as a woman, I take full accountability for whoever I slept with. I'm grown. Like if I slept with a raggedy nigga, girl, I was being raggedy that day too, my damn self. Let's be real funky. But when we're talking about when you're talking about I'm 8 weeks pregnant and I'm already a single mother because you decided you ain't want to be with me, you ain't want to have a baby. You decided that after you bust that nut at me. Really, babe? Yeah, that's okay.
It's some guys that tell you, even though they know they practicing and they know that I call it practicing. If you fucking somebody raw, even if you don't want kids, you practicing. It's a real high chance it's gonna happen.
Hey.
But at the same time, it's women up here that know this man that told you he don't want no kids. Some people have these keep a nigga babies. I got friends.
Yeah, listen.
And then you be like, he ain't around. You knew he wasn't gonna be around. He told you that before you got with him.
And that happens.
I don't think anybody has an argument with that though, Keish.
Yeah,
I think by and large, what happens is this, man. Like we were talking about, especially like with being on social media, and like you meet people, oftentimes you're meeting their representative. You meet with like the idea of who they think that you want them to be, and you know people will present their representative to you up until maybe they get what they want out of that, and then once that becomes a thing, all right, the real me comes out, and you gonna find out you don't like who this real motherfucker is, and so like situations change, like or better yet, like say for instance, like he could be like, yeah, we was just having fun, so what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? Or like what you gonna do? And you know, they decide they want to keep the baby because they don't believe in abortion, or that she wants to keep the baby because like she's always wanted to be a mother, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, when they make those decisions, I think that like bringing this shit back to the Kevin Samuels thing is that like when you have a guy like a Kevin Samuels who will tell a woman that at the age of 35, if she's 35 and she's a single mother, that she's a leftover woman, and that dudes think there's something wrong with her, and yet and still won't necessarily apply that same principle to a dude who also has a kid and he's 35 and he's unmarried. I think oftentimes it's like, okay, so why isn't this thing being applied evenly? Why are you only applying this one way? And why do we keep getting this sort of antagonistic sort of rhetoric from you? And we know why to some degree, because like I said, we were talking about money. We were talking about how the advertising and it all drives the revenue and, you know, wash, rinse, repeat, that whole shit. But ultimately, I think that the reaction to Kevin Samuels and the reason why so many women are quote unquote celebrating his death was because they felt antagonized by this dude, man.
So I don't think a lot of women are celebrating his death.
I didn't say women were. Like I seen that was the other so I think this is another thing too, right? Anecdotally, you may have seen somebody like, yes, bitch, this nigga dead. Like you might have seen that shit anecdotally. But ultimately, like in the grand scheme, like how many people were just like, well shit, you know, karma's a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Or, well, shit, this nigga died by himself. How ironic is that? You know, I don't know if those are necessarily celebratory posts, but, you know, because people weren't necessarily mourning this dude, that became, well, the lack of mourning became celebration. And then also, like let's keep it a buck, man. This nigga did have genuine fans, right? This nigga did have people who really did fuck with what he said. And ultimately, there's a bunch of folks out here who are perplexed. Like, nigga, I thought everybody loved Kevin Samuels the way I love Kevin Samuels. Why these motherfuckers talking? Why these motherfuckers talking crazy about Kevin Samuels? You know what I'm saying? And they are shocked. They are like, "Yo, what you thought? I thought what he said had some points." You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought Kevin Samuels was talking that good shit, man. What you mean? Like, Kevin Samuels wasn't talking negatively about black women. He was trying to keep black women accountable. This, that, and the other. You have people who are genuinely fans of this dude who are perplexed by the reaction that they got that his death, you know, kind of ultimately came out. And I'll just go back to that whole thing, man. Folks were feeling a certain way about this guy. And a lot of it was stemming from the things that he was saying while he was on the mic. And you only get these sorts of reactions in large part, right? When you've got a contingent of folks, a large contingent of folks that you've antagonized. The only reason I say it like this, right? And somebody on Twitter, as a matter of fact, made this point. When DMX died, you didn't find a whole lot of people coming out of their mouth talking about how terrible DMX was. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you did, it was few and far in between. It was like, yo, man, we lost a real one, man. DMX was a beautiful soul, man. He was dealing with a bunch of shit, man. He was a drug addict and everything else, but he was genuine. He wanted to get his life right, and he just couldn't get it together. Like, people were really rooting for DMX, right? We didn't see, like, a quote-unquote, man, shit, it's about time DMX kicked the bucket, man. Like, you didn't see a whole lot of that, right? And same thing with, like, you said Cicely Tyson, but I'm like Cicely Tyson. When Cicely Tyson passed, it's like, yo, man, damn, man, for real. Like, that's, you know, like, the reason why we don't see that about people like that is because of the work that they put out and, like, the energy that they put out into the world. Like, with Kevin Samuels, you're not getting that same reaction because he didn't put that same type of energy out into the world.
Betty White managed to live 99 years.
Man, Betty White, you had black people out here like damn, man.
Cunt, like, man,
you had black people out here like, yo, man, we lost a real one. And Betty White, like, Betty White got a better reception at her death than, like, Kevin Samuels did.
What is the congressman that was that died a few years ago? He was a civil rights activist from Georgia.
John Lewis.
John Lewis.
Okay, I'm in a couple of political groups on social media, right?
Okay.
Black and white. And although we celebrated him, you'll be surprised. We thought he was a hero. But to every white person, most white people know.
We know why the white people was mad.
They hate his rhetoric. They hated everything about him. So,
and we know why they was mad. So with John Lewis was the one who fought for the Civil Rights Act and got his ass whooped on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. He was a civil rights hero. We ain't surprised when white people are celebrating the death of a civil rights hero. We know why the fuck they are celebrating that.
But this is my point. My point is that we might celebrate him, and then it's a whole group of people who don't. And that's just the same with Kevin said. It's a lot of people that's like, oh, he's going to heaven, or he was a great man. I mean, I'm not one of them, but it's some people out here that's just like, had the same feelings they have for him as they have for Cicely Tyson and Betty White. And then it's the people who, but it's just crazy to me to see other black people celebrating. And I would have probably even took it better if it was white people that was mad at him.
No, here's the deal. This is the deal. And I think this is why everyone's upset. Black women have been saying this for a long time. And I really don't know how to really, I don't know what else we can do. There's a segment of black women, okay, who just don't subscribe to white supremacy in any forms. And when we look at things, that's how we're looking at everything through the lens. So we know what matters and what doesn't to us, to the community, to black people. We care about black women, black men, black children, black people, regardless of orientation, what you worship, whatever God you want to do. You know what I'm saying? Just don't hurt nobody, do no harm, right? We show up to the polls, we do what we're supposed to do. We show up in society, we do what we're supposed to do. By and large, that's your average black woman. But there has come a time, let me tell you something. I just saw it on TikTok, and when I heard it, it almost haunted me because I couldn't let it, honey. This lady said, white supremacy has found a way to break black men. White supremacy has not found a way to break black women. And that is why we are still catching the brunt of everything that white supremacy has to offer. We are at the bottom of mortality rates, domestic violence, we're at the top of the list. AIDS, we're at the top of the list. You name it, we're at the top of the list. But at the same time, we are the most educated population in this country. We have more degrees than white men, white women, black men, and every other race. I'm sorry, but black women out here trying, and it doesn't matter what you do. You black bitch, you should have knew better. Nobody's coming to save you. And you Keisha, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I say, ain't nobody coming to save you. You better know how to save you. You better have it figured out. You know what I mean when I say that. So knowing that, you mean to tell me for the sake of the race, I gotta sit here and let this nigga kick me?
I didn't take him serious at all. Like you said, I mean,
I didn't take him seriously either.
I can't take it. Like you said, 53-year-old granddaddy that 2 failed marriages, kids don't want to fuck with you. You giving down low vibes, this making money off of negative. So I mean, his opinions to me, because I valued him, I had no value for him to care enough to put what he said. But see,
that's the thing. You know who you are, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna come to you and tell you you're this and you that. Well, you don't. So wait a minute. You got a house, but it's not dipped in gold, bitch. You ain't enough. You know, we're not falling for that shit. You see what I'm saying? That's just the banana in the tailpipe mentality. Like, and some people, yeah, they fall for it, and some men they buy it because that's what they want to hear. When you listen to the rhetoric and what it says, and this is what we're seeing, like I can explain. Let's talk about white boys. Let's talk about the white kids for a hot second here, because I want to draw this parallel with you. They talk about video games, they're violent, blah 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 blah, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We know that in the gaming, when you go into those game rooms, it's rampant with racism. You will be called a nigger repeatedly if they figure out you're black from the way you talk. It's misogynistic. Those are breeding grounds where they recruit white men to become white supremacists. And one of the leading causes in rhetoric that even gets them interested is misogyny, because it's the mentality that you're superior to women. You're better than them. They're inherently inferior to you. So if you juxtapose that, look at racism. I'm white, you're black. I'm automatically superior to you. You're inferior to me. So it's easy now for me to pass legislation that fucks you up. It's easy for me to lynch you. It's easy now for me to slap you in your face because you done talked to me a little too long, woman. It's easy now, and it's not a far leap for me to beat you. And then here we are. It starts with the words. We saw this during the Trump administration when he was talking about the Latinos and when they ended up on that border. So let's look at it. Oh, they're rapists. They're gang members. They're coming to get you. They're crossing the border in droves. And then, oh yeah, the white people. Yeah, we got to do them. We got to do all this stuff. And now you've got fringe extremist people. Yeah, like you look at him like, nigga, you press, you doing too much. No, but that motherfucker's actually strapping up because he done did like 2 boot camps and shit. And his fatigue's going on the border hunting Mexicans. And then you see them down there abusing people, beating people, shooting people. So this is why we're saying words mean things. It starts with the way you speak. Then you start to think that way and you believe it. And before, that's how you act.
I definitely feel like people who listen to Kevin Samuels, who celebrate his
death. That's why he was on the FBI watch list too.
I think that people who listen to him, who bought into his rhetoric and they hurt their self-esteem, this may be a time for them to self-evaluate and grow. Because it's some things that he touched on that touched the nerve that you may need to touch on yourself to grow, so it won't affect you. Because
instead of getting online and arguing with people because they're not mourning at all. No, you sit down and think about why the person you looked up to was selling you some bullshit, was a fraud. Yep. Probably don't got no money.
Yeah, I mean, it's
had all the
rhetoric, whether you liked it or took it to heart, this may be a self-reflect moment on what did he did or said that you grasped to, or it hurt you, to see where you can grow from it. I'm a firm believer in therapy, and maybe these people may need therapy, whether you like what he said and he was like, yeah, I want to go dog women. It's something wrong with you.
You know,
Everybody
like
needs therapy.
really quick. Like the reaction to this though kind of reminds me of another contentious death that happened within the community, but it wasn't like a natural death. This was the death of Stephen Clark. Y'all remember Stephen Clark?
I remember the name.
He got killed by the police in Sacramento, California.
Oh, in his backyard.
Backyard.
Talk about it.
So Stephen Clark was killed. This is during the height of the Black Lives Matter movement and everything. Like we were, this was during the height of that. And Stephen Clark's girlfriend at the time, I believe she was Asian. Mm-hmm. And there was some social media like posts that Stephen Clark had made about black women, about why he didn't want to be with a black woman, why he chose to be with an Asian woman.
I remember that.
And when that, at first people were like, yo, we march and say his name, Stephen Clark, and everything else, Black Lives Matter. But then when those social media posts became public, there was a lot of black women who pulled back. It was like, well, wait a minute. Why am I going out here and marching and saying this dude's name when ultimately he didn't give a fuck about me? He didn't he went out and openly talked about how he didn't give a fuck about being with a black women are raggedy and all these other things. And I remember some of the talk, the back and forth about whether or not black women, just on the strength of them being black, like, yo, your blackness trumps your being a woman. You should be out here advocating for Stephen Clark. And there being a contentious like back and forth within the community about whether or not black women should even should be, marching and demonstrating on his behalf. And I see some bit of comparison here in that, like, a lot of the dudes who were like upset that, like, women are not necessarily mourning Kevin Samuels are like, yo, but he's still a black man though. Like, and so they're leaning on like the loyalty of being black as opposed to women's, like, existence as being women. And I'm seeing a lot of overlap in that. Like, yo, like, does a woman stop being a woman just because she's black, or should she amplify her blackness in spite or in sacrifice of her being a woman, if that makes sense?
So for me, I'm that woman you talk about. So I'm not, again, we know I'm not a Kevin Samuels fan. And my blackness is like, I can't celebrate another black man dying. And for me, it was like the things he said, I didn't take them to heart. So that's another reason why I'm like, I'm team black man. I'm not going to celebrate a black man dying because I didn't personally take the stuff to heart.
No. They weren't celebrating him dying.
It's some people on my timeline like, yeah, I'm glad he dead. Fuck him. Like, that's what I'm seeing. Like, I've seen posts that says, fuck that nigga. And somebody, if you go look on my Facebook post I made yesterday, it's a black man on there saying, fuck that nigga. He's literally on my post saying, fuck him. I'm glad the nigga dead. He wrote like 3 paragraph posts. I ain't even respond to him because I'm like, bro is angry. I don't know. He's triggered. I ain't even gonna respond to him because he done wrote dissertations with a lot of spell check errors and ebonics. So he's really upset. So I'm not even gonna respond to this because I ain't got the time to go back and forth. But to see another black man say, fuck that nigga, and this, I'm black before I'm anything.
So
and
we get it.
Even with him,
I'm sorry, go ahead, Keisha.
Even with him, I was like, some he said took him to heart. Like the part about being broken, this. He said certain things that Kevin Samuels says that clearly must have triggered with him. But if they trigger with you, you need to say, okay, well, he say don't date a broke man. I'm with Kevin Samuels. I'm not dating nobody broke. I'm 42. I'm not trying to build a nigga. We got build a bears, not build a nigga. I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to always go out to the park. I'm not trying to always go to the river walk. There's only so much outside dating I can do.
But the river walk nice, Keisha.
It's
nice out there now. They done did some shit down at the river walk now, Keisha. This shit built up now.
No. And I'm an outside dater, but some days I might say I want to. take me to I ain't even saying starters or nothing, but McDonald's. I'm not even saying take me to Ruth Chris, but at least don't let me have to foot everything.
So we
Keisha,
got a
what you
question.
say?
We got a question in the chat. Hold on a second, y'all. We got a question in the chat.
Again.
It says the thing I ask is, what value did Kevin Samuels add to your life? And I guess I would go out on a limb and speak for the panel that I don't think any of us felt like Kevin Samuels added anything to our lives, but I'm sure there are some people who felt like, yo, Kevin Samuels gave them an identity. There's some people who feel like Kevin Samuels gave them a philosophy to go forward with their lives. Like I just think that how we receive it and and how those dudes go forth with that philosophy is ultimately how people are going to judge Kevin Samuels and those who listen and like Kevin Samuels, because we like I said, man, when you see so many people responding to this man's death in this way, I just think it kind of speaks to like the legacy that he's leaving behind, and it may not necessarily be a positive one. Because I don't know anybody who left a positive, like legacy. We look back at Dr. King and like, there's a holiday on this man's name. Like, we think about Malcolm X. There's, there's a legacy there that people look for, they look upon and they admire it. And by and large, people have a positive outlook on it. Someone like a Kevin Samuels, instantly you see they're like, yo, it's a bunch of people that can't stand this dude, and it's within the community. We ain't talking about white folk, you know what I'm saying? Because like white folks probably don't even know who the fuck Kevin Samuels is. So like, and it was tripped out. Like I didn't even like want to speak on Kevin Samuels until I saw something from a white publication. I ain't gonna lie, like I saw NBC News finally posted about it. Like, cause I seen the shit on Twitter, I was like, I'm gonna wait till I get it from somewhere real. And then like I saw NBC News, and then the Griot got on and like, well, I guess it might be real, But yeah, man, I just think ultimately like the reason why you seeing this reaction is because bruh didn't leave a lot of good fruit, and I think ultimately that's why you seeing the reaction that you're seeing, because his representatives aren't necessarily representing well for him.
And it goes back to the lady I told you on my post. She was so negative to me. It's like, okay, if that, I'd be like, yes, thank God this negative bitch gone. And people would be like, why? You know what I'm saying? But I'm not like that. But I'm just saying, to even say, to be celebrating it, you know, somebody. So somebody probably watching this show, they probably like, Keisha crazy, she's negative. They might celebrate me. They might be like, I'm glad this crazy bitch gone. I don't know. Don't care. But it's just, to me, it's just not nothing to celebrate. I mean, and that's just based upon the post I've seen and the comments on my post.
My question has always been, because I'll be thinking, y'all, like on some real shit. When does my blackness end and accountability begin? When does my blackness end and responsibility end? At what point? How far can you go with me before I really stop and say, you know what, I can't do this no more? How long are you going to weaponize your blackness against me to keep me in line? How long are you going to use my blackness against me to accept behavior that I know I shouldn't tolerate? How long? When, what is that point? And I think there's a lot of people, a lot of women, especially Black people, are getting to that point, because remember, you think about how you felt when Obama was president in 2008. In that time, it was a great time to be. That shit was amazing, and it pissed white people off so much that they voted for Trump. True. That was their response. That's their follow up to the first Black president.
Like, let's get this fucktard in office.
So you mean to tell me that all we got going on, Black people, they still shoot you in the streets, you still discriminate against at work. It's no fair housing, no affordable housing, no universal health care, no basic income. You still scratching and surviving, standing in the scratch line, doing what you got to do. And you mean to tell me you going to get on the internet and say, fuck Black people, Fuck these black bitches. Oh, okay, cool. Police shot you. Oh, because you still. Oh, okay. And when you go back and look at the stuff these niggas were saying, and it's no different from the black guy who got stabbed up by his white girlfriend. Oh, let's get real funky. Explain to me. You see all these black men getting online proudly, loudly proclaiming, from the Tommy Sotomayor's to the Tariq Nasheeds, Kevin Samuels, and that's another thing. It isn't just Kevin Samuels. It's all of them. It's the majority of them. Most black men say something in the same vein of what these men are saying. And they all agree. It is, and then y'all stick together. There's nothing you can say about it. So you hear this, and you mean to tell me of all that's going on, y'all, and they're saying, we gonna get with these white girls. And it's like, well, whoa, wait a minute. You know the lady who set Emmett Till up to be murdered is still alive, and she ain't never been prosecuted for that shit. At what time in America has a white woman ever done anything for a black man? Because if you go back and read the suffragette when they were doing their women's, what it was, their feminist movement, oh baby, they were explicit. They kicked black women out of the movement. They kicked women of color out of the movement, and they said you need to give the vote to the white woman before you give it to a nigger. Talking about black men, and you know black men got their right to vote before white women. So that puts them, these two, black men and white women, are in a very strange category. Because
wait, Cookie.
That line.
Wait, Cookie. Let me say this. I agree with you in a lot of things that you're saying. With most our issues are based in white supremacy, right? I agree with you. But
I think all of them stem from it, but
you have this outlook on black men, but you speak highly of your black dad. I don't understand that.
Because y'all niggas ain't nothing like him. You know, when I was dating in my 20s, you know how many niggas told me, I'm not your daddy. I can't do that. I ain't doing that for you. Baby.
Well, that's the type of man that you choose. That's the type of man that you choose.
No. I didn't choose that man. I didn't choose him, sweetie. He told me he couldn't make it. My daddy told me.
If you you chose him.
Stop it. I never chose none of these niggas. I don't claim these hoes. You don't know me. What are you talking about?
He said that? Did you say, fuck it, I'm done with you?
No. Yeah, I'll move on. Oh, let me tell you something. Growing up, being an adult, being a man, because this is what my dad told me. He said being a man is a choice. It's a choice he made. And I thought about it. You know, he told me one time, because he grew up, he was very poor, and he talked to me all the time about how he grew up and things like that and his experiences. And he told me, you don't know what it's like to be poor. And I was like, thank you for that. And he was just like, he made a choice. He was sitting in his kitchen one day looking at his siblings starving. And he was like, when I grow up, I'm not going to live like this. When I grow up, I'm going to have a house. I'm going to have my own place. I'm going to have a refrigerator full of ice, Pepsi, cookies, whatever I want to eat. I'm going to have my own bed, because he had to share a bed with his brothers sometimes. Too many kids in the house. So yeah, when you think about when you were younger and you rebelled against your parents, when I get big, I will live like this. I'm going out when I want to. I ain't calling nobody and telling nobody where I'm going. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm going to drive this car. I'm going to drive that car. Ooh, look, that's my car. You see, you had that mentality. So then when you started growing up, what did you do? I don't know about you. I grinded. I was like, I want that car. I want to be able to go out when I want to. I want to buy my own clothes. I'm working 2 jobs in high school. I don't need 2 jobs, but I'm doing that because my mother would buy me clothes. I'm like, Mom, this old fashioned. I don't like this. So you know what? Well, I gotta make my own money, buy my own clothes. Like sooner or later, you make that decision. It's a choice. You choose. You know you don't want to live with your mama forever.
Me and Ardell me and Boatwright grew up on the same street. We grew up on the same block growing up, right? Mm-hmm. Ardell mom, nice house, 4 kids, grind, everything. My grandfather stayed on his block. Same thing. We grew up in a generation or in our neighborhood where the standard was to have your own house, to be successful. Even though Cooley wasn't that, the neighborhood wasn't that bad when we was younger. but it was a standard. It wasn't a choice. Like even when I went to college, I said I want to go to Wayne State. My mom said no.
Girl, you made the choice to go to Wayne State. What you mean? You
No,
said,
wait, no.
She didn't
Listen,
go there.
I wound up going to Michigan State. My mom said to me, "You know what? You can't go to Wayne State." She said because you know you're not gonna learn yourself. She said because you're gonna still be in my house, you're gonna still have my rules, and it's just gonna still be the same as going to high school because you haven't learned yourself. You haven't learned to do time management. I'm gonna be still telling you to get up. I'm gonna be telling you this. She said, "Go off. You got to learn yourself without me." And it was just the standard that we was raised in. And then you made a point earlier about guys dating black women, and it made me think about something. In college, my boyfriend played football at Michigan State, and he went to the NFL, and all of his friends kind of he was around played. And one guy dated one of his friends dated white girls. That's all he dated in college. And they was at our house one day, and they was like, one of the black guys told the other teammate, he said, only a weak man want a weak woman. And I said, what you mean by that? He was like, white women are weak. They let you do what you want. You can dog them, treat them any kind of way. They just happy to have you. They say they got an athlete. They don't give a fuck about you. They just want you, not knowing. They don't want to meet your family. They don't want to know how you was raised. And I looked at that, and he was like, look at this nigga. He was like, he weak. He said it to his face. He said he weak and he want a weak woman. He said that's why he get dogged on the field. They treat him any kind of way. He don't want to work hard because he got somebody he dating that don't want to work hard. That ain't pushing him to be strong. And I mean, even to this day, when I see black guys with white women, my first thought is he weak. And I don't want him. Glad you took him, sis. I don't care if he got
the thing about it. No. Like 100. Here's the deal. I don't think a lot of men have been doing some of that development. And I say that as I have a lot of male black friends. I did the homie thing. I have male cousins. I got uncles. I don't have any brothers, but you know, I've seen my share and what have you. I've always been independent, self-sufficient and independent. I'm not going to ask. I was told I was too independent and you want to be like, and I never understood that. And it was so weird because my friend, her daughter is a senior and she's getting ready to go to college and she's talking about her future, where she wants to go, what she want to do. And I'm like, yes, honey. I'm like, yeah, this is how you build your wings, shawty. Like, take that leap. And her uncle was like, you trying to tell her to be a man? And I'm like, huh? He's like, that's what you tell men. You tell them go out there, get out there, do this and that, and live their life and sow their roll oats. You tell it to do. You tell it to a man. And I'm like, whoa. I'm like, well, first of all, like, what the hell do you want her to do when she graduates high school? I don't get it. Like, I'm confused. So also, I think what it is, not only you're right, to an extent, I think it's a standard, but I'm also going back to choice because think about how you grew up and the choices you made. Sometimes you made bad choices. We all did. Sometimes, you know, you snuck. Look, we all cut school, and you know.
My mama didn't play that shit.
Oh, listen, you ain't do that. You went bad.
Straight and went and met my professors. My mom, I was so terrified.
Pause. You went bad in high school. You went bad.
No, I was a fighter. I was bad, but I was smart. Okay. I was National Honor Society
vice president. Scrapping.
I was National Honor Society vice president of my class. I was the president. I mean, I was a captain of the cheer team, track team. I was always smart, but I was bad. Ardell used to tell you, I used to fight boys in the neighborhood, but
yeah. So when we moved to our neighborhood, me and my brother used to fight everybody on that side of the block. Mm-hmm. And so Keisha would be out there scrapping, fighting me and my brother since I known her. And she liked my brother. She actually had a crush on him.
Still gonna swing on him.
Ardell will tell you I was bad up until probably I still a fight. But I was bad. I used to be bad, but my mama didn't play that. But my mama said the same way my mama trained to go. But she didn't say about doing business in school.
Mm-hmm. But think about the choices you made. Even though you was going to do what you was going to do, you knew in the back of your mind, you got to sit down, you got to make time to do what you need to do to get them grades so that you can be in the National Honor Society, so that you can be qualified, be eligible to be on the track team and to be a cheerleader because you need a 2.0. You still made those choices.
Yeah, for sure she did.
You also
But
could have defied your
My
mama
choice,
and
I'm
went a different way.
naturally book smart, but my choice was I didn't want to get a whooping when I got home. That was the choice. The choice was,
Yeah.
do you really want to have to deal with your mama? But it's crazy that you say the choices because, like, some of my family members and people from my neighborhood to be like, oh, they think I'm bougie or stuck up because I went to
Y'all
college.
came from the same place. Y'all had the same access with the same opportunity, but
And
they
I
made their
like
choices.
same choices I had. We all grew up in the hood. We all went to Cooley. You had my mama probably made my choice for me. She didn't let me stay at home, but
Technically, while she did that, even though if you really wanted to like box your mama and go do your thing, you could have did that. Is what I'm. But you nah, like I'm a chill. Like I choose to respect my mama. You know what I'm saying? I choose to do
I
that.
know I know my mom poured so much into me that
Mm-hmm.
I didn't
That's
want to
right.
her. Like my mom is always, even at 42, she every event I throw, everything I do, she's always been so supportive that I would never want to let her down. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was a choice to just show my mama what she's poured into me has blossomed. So that was my choice, to just to let her see her fruits have done what they were supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. And you had times where you may have had doubt. You may have
No,
didn't know.
I got my doubt about that beat.
No. Like whatever. I don't know. Like I'm saying, I don't. I'm saying be in general because I don't know you personally to say like, oh, this is what you. I'm not trying to do that. But like you had your moments. We all do. We're human. And the point is, I'm saying is that I don't see it any different for men. Sometimes I don't. They got choices too.
Why do you
Y'all
Cookie?
got choices too.
Jesus
What
Christ!
you have choices too.
But men make the same choices that Keisha made.
Okay.
But why do you choose to say exact that every time?
What do you mean, honey?
Like you said, men, you went and attacked men. You know, that's what you.
I'm not attacking
I didn't
them.
feel attacked at all there. B like I did, but maybe I'm that 9 out of 10 nigga again. There we go.
But no, the truth is, the thing
No.
about it is, for me, it's more like if I'm around a group of guys and they start talking about bitches and hoes, they'll tell me, well, if you ain't a bitch or a hoe, you can't get offended. If it don't fit, let it fly, whatever. That's what I was told. So what I'm talking about are the kind of men who subscribe to the thinking that I'm pointing out as the issue, misogyny. If you're misogynistic now, if you have some misogyny in you, honey, you may not like what I'm saying. If you subscribe to misogyny, it might bother you what I'm saying. Like I ain't even gonna hold you, but I'm not attacking men, and I'm not saying like, oh, I mean, no bullshit. Y'all want to know? Y'all want to hear a story? Y'all want to hear a story real quick?
Story time.
Story time, Cook.
Story
So
time.
when my sister was 16, she went on her first date, and this boy came to the house to pick her up. He, knocked on the door, met my dad, like did the whole thing, the whole 9 yards, right? And my mother was nervous because he had a kid, and so I was shocked that they was letting her go. But he was a nice guy. He called, he asked, he had his own car, whatever. He was responsible, so they let her go. He was, he was cool. He admitted, like he did what he did. So when he came to get her, they was leaving out. And they were leaving out. I was standing there at the step, and my mom, she just was like, she was real nervous. She was just like, I can't believe I'm letting out, like, And then she just go up to the door. She just hollered, Sam, remember, penis is the enemy.
Oh shit.
I was dying. She was like, penis is the enemy. I was like, oh damn. I fell out. I fell the fuck out. I couldn't believe she did that shit.
That's funny.
I couldn't believe she did it.
But somebody hurt you, Cookie. Somebody hurt you.
I'm
and
not
I want you
hurt.
to heal,
I
sister.
understand.
I want you to heal, sister.
Why do you think I'm hurt?
Because how you talk about black men, I just want you to heal, baby.
Huh?
You just talk about us with so much.
I talk about black women too.
Now, not once since you've been on this podcast.
Well, we're not talking about black women. We're talking about Kevin Samuels.
and he talks about black women.
Yeah, and that's the problem.
You done said black men can't keep a job.
No, I didn't.
You done said black men don't know how to date appropriately. Black men.
Well, I to an extent, I said they don't know themselves. So
you're the opposite of Kevin Samuels. I'm gonna call you Cookie Samuels.
That's not true. No, honestly, truly, what women want, the majority of women want, by and large, educated black women want, is not available in the dating pool.
I disagree with that though.
Okay.
Where do you live, Cookie?
I'm a disagree with you. I'm a disagree.
So I live in DC. I'm born and raised in Detroit. I've been in DC since 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no woman out here not available to me. And that's what all of them. I don't care what she does. She can be work. She can be at.
And see, that's the problem. Okay, so let's talk about it.
I'm just saying what you're saying. I don't get that.
What, by and large, what most women that aspire to things, what they want, is not available in the market sometimes. Yeah, and so here's the deal. You hear yourself, right, where you said there's not a woman in the market that's not available to you. You tap any broad you want to, don't matter what she do, don't matter whatever. You ain't got no type. Bad bitches, like, that's all you want, right? She gotta be a bad bitch. She gotta look good. She gotta appeal to you visually, and you want it, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So that isn't necessarily something that works for most black women. One thing that we've been saying, and I talk about too with a lot of black women, and there's a pattern there. A lot of you sound a little entitled, and I'm saying that as you don't matter who she is, where she is, you're gonna approach her, you're gonna talk to her. Like, it's more like the more you shoot it, the more you fire, and the more bullets you shoot, the more likely you'll hit something versus actually aiming at something and shooting.
You're on mute. You're on mute. Bo.
Thank you. So that's not what I'm saying, right? And maybe I didn't articulate it properly. And if that's the case, I apologize. I don't think no woman is above me.
Didn't say they were. I mean, that's not what we're saying.
So if I like someone, if I look at a woman and I can appreciate how she looks, because you have to be attracted to someone, right? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna approach you. Nobody is above. I would if I saw Kamala Harris at Ben's next door, I'm sliding on her.
And see, here's the deal. Listen.
You confident.
That man said, I'm sliding on her.
Right. That's cool.
All right, got confidence. He got confidence.
That's cool. But it's just like, if you are approaching her based on the way that she looks.
I mean, that's
what next? That's what's getting you. But that's what's getting you to what next? What's next?
So no, I have to like you. You have to have substance. You got to be smart. I like smart women. If you're not an intelligent woman, I'm done with you after the first time we have a conversation. No matter how good you look, I don't care about that. All I'm saying is, like, you have a lot of like, I don't know what it is, like evilness towards black men. Like,
no, I don't.
How you speak about black men. I don't know everybody I know, every man I hang out with has and makes over 100K a year, and they've been doing this for a long time.
Okay.
A long time. They travel, they take care of their children, they own companies, houses.
But I didn't give a criteria.
But you have spoken about a low tier nigga. And if that I don't understand that.
Okay. So check this out. Let's bring this full circle, right?
Okay.
Let's bring this full circle.
You're a great host.
Thank you. Let's bring this full circle though. So remember earlier when we were talking about Kevin Samuels, one of the refrains that we heard was, if it don't apply, let it fly. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I've been listening to Cook the same way Boat listening to Cook. I haven't felt the same. I don't get the same vibe from Cook that Boat is getting from Cook. So when we say if it don't apply, let it fly. Like when she's talking about some of these black men who aren't doing the work in order to like find themselves, to know themselves, I don't feel any certain way about that. I don't feel any certain way about that because I feel as though I am doing that work. I am trying to learn better about who I am and who I can become. Things like that, right?
But you're married.
I am married, but
he's not on the dating scene. So
I'm not on the dating scene, but also even though I'm married, right? I'm not even applying this simply to just on some dating shit. Just on some being
married too.
I'm just talking about on some like being a man, period. Notwithstanding the fact that I'm a husband. Just on being a man, period. So me earning $100,000 a year has absolutely nothing to do with me being a husband. Me earning $100,000 a year has absolutely nothing to do with me being a father. None of that has anything to do with any of that, right? I'm not out here pursuing anyone, but what I'm saying is that when we're talking about if it don't apply, let it fly. I'm only saying like, yo, I'm sitting here listening to the same shit that you listening to, but I'm not feeling the same I'm not feeling attacked in the way that maybe you feeling attacked. You see what I'm saying?
No. So I didn't feel attacked. I felt,
okay. Well, you were talking about
No, I just felt that who she's talking about. I don't know.
You call me evil, bruh.
I said how you speak about black men
was evil.
It is. It sounds and
you know what? I'll say this: I'm not evil, but sometimes the truth.
Well, I didn't call you evil because I don't know you, but I'm saying the way you speak about black men, I don't know those guys. Like everything that you have said, I don't know them.
Y'all never know each other.
What I'm saying is, I may have once known them. I don't. They're not in my circle.
So you know they exist, though.
I'm sure you speaking about experiences, but I'm saying is
I'm asking you. You know they exist, right?
For sure, because I hear stories
with those guys. You're not that guy anymore, right?
No, I was never. Nothing that you said. I was never that. But I was.
No. You just said what you just said. You just said I don't hang with them no more.
I mean, because we grew up. We went to school together.
We grew up
in the neighborhood.
But you grew up.
But I'm to go with what Boatwright saying, like even the guys you described, those type of guys don't approach me. Like when a guy that I consider what Kevin would consider low value or whatever, not a good guy, or he don't have his shit together. When a guy like that approach me, I'll be looking at myself like, what about me says that I would entertain you? Like I have to question myself because I'm like, nothing about me.
And I think like maybe might
be guys. If I'm at a gas station and the guy be like, can I get your number? You outside of the fucking gas station asking me for money. What about me say that I would talk to you? But I have friends. But listen, I got friends with master's degrees that talk to guys who be at the gas station begging for money. I have friends with masters and doctorates that will talk to a guy that be outside the gas station. And I'm like, I had to ask one girl. She said, I can't find a good guy. I'm educated. I got a bachelor's. I got a master's. I got a doctorate. I said, but you're talking to guys that's at the gas station asking to pump your gas. You talking to guys that don't have a car that you got to pick up. So you done already lowered yourself and your standards for talking about people that ain't even on your level. Like I had a guy
tell me. Deal. I hear what you're saying. Now that part, I hear what you're saying. I definitely hear what you're saying. I get that. And you're right. Listen, you got to have standards. When you guys are talking about low value, you're talking about that checklist. I'm talking about your character.
No, even the character is considered low value. Like to me, a dude that's celebrating Kevin Samuels dying, he's low value to me because it says something about your moral compass based upon my moral compass. So if you out here celebrating this man's death, I don't want to deal with you because that makes you low value to me because I don't like the way your morals because they don't correlate with mine.
What was it about him that what was he saying that made him celebrate it? What was that man saying? What exactly was he?
No, I'm saying he was controversial. I think it was controversial.
But was he a white guy in a black account? Like was he blackfish? Like what was it? What was he saying?
Who you talking about? No, I'm talking about Kevin Samuels.
I'm talking about the guy you said on your post.
If a
you
guy
said
on
the guy
Facebook
was on
like,
the post. Was he black? He was black.
yeah, he was black. If you on Facebook and you saying, I'm so glad this nigga dead, fuck that nigga, that's low value to me. I don't care how you look, what you got, how much you make. It don't matter. I don't care if you got 1,000 degrees, a Maserati, Bentley, your moral compass don't align with mine.
But again, I think what I'm talking about character.
And that's character and moral. That goes back to character and moral compass to me. That your character trait don't align with mine. If you okay celebrating somebody dying. Just
my
because
morals,
of Facebook posts and YouTube posts.
My morals will dictate what I would do. My character is who I am.
I'm just not dealing with nobody to celebrate nobody else's death.
And that's like you're saying, that is a moral thing for you, because some people, like if you go to New Orleans, they second line, they celebrate death.
I've been the second line.
Hey man, I know when fucking what was that? When Rush Limbaugh kicked the bucket, man. I was.
Nah, I ain't gonna hold you. I ain't give a fuck.
Yeah, I ain't give a fuck.
When Rush Limbaugh kicked the bucket, man, we was over here with the hallelujah music, man. I'm not even on front, and that goes back to that whole point that I made earlier, man. Like a lot of these 9 times out of 10, because we know Keisha that 10th, right? 9 times out of 10. When somebody we don't like or don't like passes on, sometimes, somebody might, they'll turn up a bottle. They might not pour out none. They might say prayers down, you know what I'm saying? Because they know they ain't sending the prayers up. That whole thing, man. You see it all the time. And I think ultimately, like, the celebration, quote unquote, is like kind of what got the whole social media thing popping. But ultimately, like, I honestly did not see. This is just my own anecdotal experience. I honestly did not see people celebrating the death of Kevin Samuels. What I did see was folks like, well, I mean, shit. How ironic is it that this old dude died alone by himself in an apartment? And these were some of the same criticisms that he was leveling at the women that, that he was talking about. Like, and so I saw a lot of that. I didn't see, I'm glad this motherfucker did. I didn't see any of that. I'm not saying
I've seen that.
Yeah, I definitely seen that.
I'm not saying it didn't happen, because I'm not one of those folks who were just like, well, if I didn't see it, therefore it does not exist. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying I didn't witness that in my own anecdotal experience. So
I'm not on my post.
I'm sure it's there, Keisha. I'm not doubting you. I'm just and hold on, Keisha over there cooking and shit now. Like we
Look, my kid was
I could tell we at the stove because I could see the vent and shit from the bottom of the microwave.
Listen, my daughter literally is mad because the restaurant we were supposed to go to is closed now.
Oh damn, my bad.
My daughter
we out here not feeding the babies. Okay, so we have been going on for a little while, man. Real talk.
We done missed Bus Boys and Poets, man.
Yeah. Oh damn. Well, yo, I guess I think we can kind of wrap this up. We've been going on for about 2 hours and 20 minutes, so I think it's about time we wrap this up. But before we get out of here, yo, Boat, man, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you and see you on the stage, brother.
All right, comedian Ardell Boatwright. You can catch me on IG, comedian Ardell Boatwright on everything. Detroit Boat on Twitter. I'll be in the DMV performing periodically, and hopefully I'll get booked in Detroit soon.
There you go. And yo, Keisha, fam, tell everybody how they can get in touch with you over there at Dating Satan.
You can go on Facebook. I have a Dating Satan group. It's Dating Satan, the number 2, only because my other group got terminated. The business page for Dating
Facebook
Satan.
felon over here, man.
Yeah, I just got out of Facebook jail. It's Dating Satan on Facebook. My Facebook is Keisha Carr. You know what? I might be at 5,000 friends. Or Keisha Carr on Facebook. Instagram is Keisha_Keish625. Instagram, Credit and Conversation. Lip Lover, I got to do my lip gloss line too. Dating Satan on Instagram, and YouTube is Dating Satan. Everything is Dating Satan.
There you
go. And you can catch me next Friday on 9:10 a.m. in Detroit at 6 o'clock, and on Check 'em Boys podcast next Friday at 8 o'clock.
Okay. Make sure you send me all of that shit so I can put that in the show notes, because that sounded like a lot. You got a lot going on there, fam.
I do, man.
You do.
I definitely do.
And if you need life insurance, I can get you there. You know, no matter what state you're in, I sell life insurance. Hit me up. Actual Ardell Boatwright. So
there you go, man. There you go. Yo, Cook, man. Tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, girl.
I just want you to know, y'all are some accomplished motherfuckers. Y'all got the handles. Y'all got everything. I'll just go ahead and with the, say no. No, high Spann. What is it? High _ Spann. I forgot my IG shit.
I'm gonna make you a new one today. It's gonna be called KRS1 Cookie. KRS Cookie. That's gonna be your.
No, it's highly inappropriate _Spannet SPANNET. And I'm on hiatus right now, but highly inappropriate will be coming back. I'm back in school, y'all. Like I'm lunching.
There you go.
But to finish grinding, I'll be back. But I'll come here and talk shit or whatever. You can catch me out there or whatever.
Indeed, y'all. And yeah, y'all know how to get in touch with your boy, man. Mr. Spann on all the platforms. Twitter, Instagram. Yeah, mainly Twitter and Instagram. I ain't giving y'all my Facebook. If you ain't already got it, you ain't gonna get it. But also, man, check out the website, www.thespannreport.com. Go there, watch replays of the show. You can definitely watch a replay of this while we out here talking our shit. And also, 5-star reviews on iTunes and on Stitcher Radio. Like I told y'all last episode, man, y'all been out here leaving your boy out here high and dry on the reviews, fam. Like, it don't cost you a dime, man. I'm so for real. Don't cost you nothing, man, to tell people why you fucking with this. You know what I'm saying? Let them people know why you fucking with the show. You know what I'm saying? It cost you nothing, man. Just be like, yo, 5 stars. I fuck with it. Boom. There you go. That's it. On iTunes and Stitcher Radio. I don't even know if Stitcher Radio still does reviews, but habits, man. We still on habits. But yo, man, it's been good talking with everybody. I appreciate everybody for coming on. I will talk to you guys again soon. But until next time, fam. Peace.
Long live Kevin.